5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
They've landed.
You're in the right place. Online, on the web, and on air. All over the world.
Talk radio.
You hear us, we hear you.
Yeah, good evening everybody and welcome to the KTPF Community Talk Show. We're here live in Manchester in the UK on www.ktpf.co.uk. My name's Suzanne.
And I'm Steve.
And we're here on a relaxed show to bring you discussions about the paranormal, all genres of the paranormal, and also introduce friendship as well within the paranormal community. So if you're there in the chat room, welcome, and we hope to hear from you during our show with questions and conversations to our guest tonight. We've also got Steve. No, we haven't. That's who we've got later. We've also got Chris Andrews and Emma Knight from ClubZero Paranormal Group. They're here with us tonight, and as usual, Emma will be giving you the observations a bit later on, and Chris will be contributing to our topics as well. And we've also got, as I said, we've got Steve Ground tonight. He's going to be coming on. He's from Paranormal World, and he's also part of the Craig Y Nos experience. He runs tours and
well, he'll
stuff.
be telling us more about that later on.
Around Craig Y
Can't
Nos.
tell him everything, otherwise there was no point Steve coming on.
No, I know that. Shut up, you. Look, you're starting on me already.
Why not? For those of you actually watching at the time, the picture will get better. It's because of all the sunshine streaming through the window there.
Yes.
And I'd like to say good evening to Emma. Evening, Emma. And Mr. Chris.
Hello there, good evening.
And how are you?
I'm half left, thank you. How are you?
I'm glad you're only half left.
Yes, I'm only half left.
And what kind of week have you two had? What have you been up to?
Busy. Hectic week. It's going to be even more hectic next week, but planning things, investigations, things like that. The different things.
We're at Leopards Inn next week.
Yes, I know.
Planning a camping trip. We're going. There's about 9 of us going away. October.
Yeah.
For 2 days.
Camping anywhere spooky?
Yeah, we're going to Pendle.
Well, we're not camping.
We're not. We're going in holiday cottages. We've booked them.
It's not camping.
So we're going to spend the night, one night getting pie-eyed in the Pendle Inn.
Go on, be brave and camp on the top of the
hill.
around
on the hill. Digging a hole, toiletries and things. Yeah, it's going to be good. Tasting the best brew bitter, because that's gorgeous stuff, that bitter.
Are you sold out for the Burslem Leopard Inn?
I think we are.
You are?
I think we are. Yeah. And then we've got more that's on the way that are filling quick as well.
So
we've got one in July as well.
So if the Leopard is full, what is your next one that you need people on?
The Manchester Transport Museum.
Yeah, we've got a few spaces
we've got a few
for that.
places left for that.
Hat Green, we've got plenty of spaces for that. That's filling up, but we've got a few good spaces, plenty for that as well.
Yeah. You'll enjoy the Transport Museum.
Yeah, I've had a look around.
Yeah, they have a nice bunch of guys up there.
It's full of buses, but it's nice. Oh, was that me? Or was that? I heard.
That was me. Forgot to turn my speaker off.
That was
voices from Pluto.
I don't know.
Yes, there's one thing I will say about the Transport Museum is don't get trapped in the fact that it's all buses.
I think the historical value of it, I'm looking at all the buses and things like that, and speaking to them, there has been accidents there and things like that in the past where loss of life and things like that.
So from what I understand, every bus there has had an accident somewhere along the line. Not all fatal, but what I'm saying is not everything you pick up is going to be about buses.
No, definitely.
So don't get trapped into the fact that everything's got to be to do with the bus.
It's going to be an interesting night, I think. It's different. It's different for us because we've never been there.
Very
so,
different, yeah.
Yeah, so it's good. I mean, but next week, it's hectic anyway because we've got the meeting on Thursday. Stoke on Friday.
Stoke again on Saturday.
Stoke again on Saturday. So it's hectic.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to remind everyone, if you ever have any problem with the live feed, because we are actually tied to live stream.
Yes, and they work on US time, don't they?
They do work on US time. So if you do have any problem, just refresh your page. And if we have any problems, we'll do the same. But don't forget, you are our eyes and ears. So if you can't hear us, tell us in the chat room, okay, or see us.
Just don't go away. We will be back.
Yes, by hook or by crook. So, as I say, we've not had a problem for the past couple of weeks. So we just keep our fingers crossed. Touch wood.
Touch wood.
Yes. So, as I say. So yeah, we've well, I'm going to have a look, see whether I've still got anything on the leopard, so I can give you a bit of a heads up later on.
We've been before. I haven't
Yeah.
been, but the club's been before. But and the reports that came back from that, they fully enjoyed it. So it's new for me. It's new for these guys as well. The team, because obviously a different team now.
Well, it's been nice to have a look at it after the guys have gone.
Yeah, but it will be nice to go back.
They've done anything upstairs.
You guys are coming out. You
Yes.
We shall be joining.
Yes.
So.
I mean, you might have things that you might want to. If you want to record anything like your EVPs and you get anything, you might have little samples. You can whack them out on your show.
Well, this is it.
For people to analyse.
I've got a load of pictures. I know that much.
Just make sure you took wind tablets before you record it.
So.
That's usually what I get.
Yes, I shall be bringing my camera with me. I can take lots of pictures.
Mm-hmm.
Not sure whether I should bring my video camera or not. Though.
Well, it's bring what you want to get because you never know, do you? It's always that way where you go somewhere. I wish I'd have brought this now. Damn, I should have brought this. And even if it's just to make your own little video documentary of your night in the leopards, it's little memories there as well, isn't it? And you never know anyway what you might come across. You can look at your videos, look at your pictures, and on first glance you look at them and think, nah, nothing on there. Or you look at your video, nothing on there. It's only when you go back and scrutinise these things, you suddenly find something. You think, oh, I didn't see that before. Or somebody else points it out to you. And you
it's
think,
always one frame, isn't it?
Yeah,
one frame out of
split second.
Hours. You just might see something.
Split second. So you never know. And plus, if I fall over, you've got it on evidence there for your video, so I can put a claim in against myself. Yeah.
I can also stick it on YouTube so everybody can have a laugh.
Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah, you might get some hits, make some money on that. We could do the holiday.
Yep, penny a hit. That'd be good.
Yeah, I'll hit myself a few times for a penny. But yeah, sounds good.
So, well, I'll tell you what we'll do. Without any further ado. We will go over to Emma with the observations.
Okay.
I do.
Okay, let's get back to the start. Okay. Playboy Playmates Hunt Ghosts, a new series, Pretty Paranormal. A new paranormal reality series called Pretty Paranormal is currently in production. According to a teaser trailer that debuted on YouTube on Tuesday, the show will follow 5 Playboy Playmates as they investigate various haunted locations. Pretty Paranormal is currently in early stages of production. Producers of the show have created a fundraising page on the website Indiegogo to generate funding for the production costs. 5 Playboy Playmates that have had an interest in the paranormal have joined together to explore some of the country's most haunted places. Irina Voronina, Pilar Lastra, Angel Boris, and Tina Jordan and Heather Renee Smith will investigate claims of the paranormal and won't forget to have a good time while doing it. A few teaser trailers are on YouTube for the upcoming web series. The girls seem very excited about the show and have quite a few things to say about it. I have a lot of talent and special skills for ghost hunting. I'm not scared of anything, Voronina says. Playmates make great ghost chasers, especially if the ghosts are male, Lastra says. I think what makes us different is that we're unexpected, we're wild, we're outrageous, but we're there to really seek out the truth, Boris says. I hunt ghosts because I want to prove to people that ghosts are real, Jordan said. So that's a new premise we've not seen before.
It is. I had a look at one of the promos and it looks like the new Scream team.
Yeah.
lots of screaming women running around and bumping into each other. Most of the time scaring each other.
So what did they say? They hunt ghosts because ghosts are real.
Yeah.
Ghosts are real.
Yeah.
Ghosts are memories. And memories, everybody's got memories in the mind, that's real. It's spiritual aspects, that's a different side of things.
Yeah. Oh well, we'll see what happens with that.
But we all chase memories anyway.
I don't think I'd be watching it even if they are playmates.
No, it's not on my list to watch, but good for them.
Ooh, I like that word, mollis. I like that. Yeah.
What word?
That word you said.
What word?
That word.
You said mollies.
Yeah, mollis. Didn't you?
No.
She did, didn't she? She said mollis, didn't
It
she?
sounded like it, yeah.
Yeah, we're having technical difficulties, people. Please start by. You did, you said mollis.
Next one.
Yeah,
When?
moving on.
Okay, moving on. Former Coast Guard sailor reveals encounter of humanoid creature. A former US Coast Guard sailor records an incident with a transparent oval-shaped craft that moved within 200 yards of his vessel that revealed a humanoid pilot before quickly disappearing, according to June the 13th, 2014 testimony in case 57,018 from the Mutual UFO Network Witness Reporting Database. The incident occurred in late 1978 or early 1979 near Cuba on a law enforcement Coast Guard cutter, while the witness was standing near the fantail with another sailor when the object was first seen. I witnessed a transparent oval-shaped craft that cut across the back of the ship, maybe 100 to 200 yards away, the witness stated. The witness got a good look at the craft. I could clearly see a frame inside the craft and the humanoid pilot as he abruptly turned to look at us, but the sighting was quick. As it glided off to the back side to the back of the ship, in a blink of an eye, it vanished. Many years later, I found something online that looked exactly like the creature I witnessed. No images or illustrations were included with the MUFON report. MUFON International is investigating. Next one.
Next
Yeah.
one.
9-year-old suffers
Yes.
burns in an alleged exorcism attempt. A pastor and his assistant who used heated stones to burn the body of a 9-year-old boy at the Mancassim in the central region under the pretext of exorcising a demonic spirit out of him, have been sentenced to a 15-year jail term each with hard labour. The pastor Kojo Ephraim, alias Asofo Kojo Abraham, 41, and his assistant Yor Nakanza, 28, both of the Holy Church of Ghana, pleaded guilty with explanation. Prior to the sentencing, they had pleaded with the court to have mercy on them. The Cape Coast Circuit Court, presided over by Miss Ava Bannerman Williams, ordered the convicts to also pay the medical bills that would come from the plastic surgery that the boy would have to undergo. Delivering her sentence, Mrs. Bannerman Williams said, "Looking at what you have caused to this boy, I think he is emotionally and psychologically traumatized. I am therefore appealing to individuals and non-governmental organisations working for the good of children to come to the aid of this boy and offer him help in the restoration of the deformity meted against him." Asofo Abraham burst into uncontrollable tears after the judgment, saying, "I will die in prison within 1 year." The prosecutor, Inspector Christina Sampong, said the victim's father, Stephen Nyem, lived in the same vicinity as the convicts at Mancassim. About 3 months ago, the victim left home and could not be found for 2 days. She said, knowing Asofo as a friend and prophet of God, Mr. Nyem approached him and asked for prayers for the return of his son. Fortunately for Mr. Nyem, his son returned home that very day when Asofo happened to be visiting his friend. She said Asofo ordered Mr. Nyem to send the boy to his prayer camp for spiritual deliverance because he believed the victim was possessed by a demonic spirit. Out of fear of losing his son, the prosecutor said Mr. Nyem sent his son to Asofo to cleanse him of the demonic spirit. Inspector Sampong said Asofo kept the boy at his prayer camp, and when Mr. Nyem visited the camp one day to see his son, he saw him firmly held onto 3 big heated stones on the ground and covered with a mat and a cloth. She told the court the boy had already gone through the ordeal twice, and on both occasions he had screamed for help before he was freed, after suffering burns all over his body. She said, realising the deformity caused to his son, Mr. Nyem lodged a complaint at the police station, leading to the arrest of Asofo Abraham and Nakanza. In his explanation, Asofo told the court that Mr. Nyem had approved him to cast out a spirit, which he believed had been tormenting his son.
I don't know what makes people think that by burning something they can get rid of a spirit. Well, a demon they're talking about. I mean, surely a demon's supposed to come from hell, which is supposed to be hot anyway. So why make it hot? It's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah, I don't think there's any logic behind that. I think
the idea of burning them is to try and hopefully use the flames to send them back to hell.
Maybe
where they come from.
It's pain. If you cause pain, and the spirit would leave the body. Maybe that's it.
It's a belief
the
that they
logic
have,
behind
but
it.
it's not a proven essence. It's not a proven fact. You know,
well, see, they've got their religious beliefs, and
it's not even something that makes sense.
No. Sadly enough, though, that's just one of thousands of children who have been.
Fire is also an element.
Mutilated and killed because they've been accused of being witches or being possessed.
Fire is an element as well, and sometimes you can use the elements. People believe they can use elements like earth, sea, air, fire, water, just to rid evil spirits and things like that. So it could be an element factor that.
But why is it always the one that maims or kills the person you're trying to save?
Kind of defeats the object.
That's just the price you got to pay, apparently. But yeah, it's true. I mean, you ever watched that film Constantine? He puts his feet in water, doesn't he, when he's going to hell to visit there. So again, it's an element.
Yeah, I think it's a grounded travelling. Over to you, Emma.
Okay, the ghost of Alcatraz. Tourists spooked by a photograph of a young woman waiting in the notorious prison's visitation block. A picture shows what appears to be a young woman looking into the camera. It was taken at Alcatraz Federal Penitentiary, a site notorious for ghost sightings. Photographer can't explain how the ghost-like image came to appear in the picture. So a photograph of a ghost-like figure appearing at the window of Alcatraz prison block has baffled the couple who took it. The spooky picture was taken by Sheila Sillery Walsh at Alcatraz prison off the coast of San Francisco, California. The former prison site, long considered to be one of the most haunted places in the US, was once the home to hundreds of notorious murderers, bank robbers and gangsters such as Al Capone. In the spooky image, a shadowy girl can be seen staring directly through the window at the camera from inside the inmate's visitation waiting room. Teaching assistant Sheila from Birmingham took the photo with her iPhone 5C when she visited the former prison in April while on holiday with her partner Paul Rice. The 48-year-old said Alcatraz is a must-see for any tourist. However, as soon as we entered the prison, everything felt very eerie. I didn't feel comfortable there. Whilst doing an audio tour of the place, I casually stopped to take a snap of the empty visitation block window on my iPhone. When I glanced at the photo on my phone, I saw this dark female figure in the picture. I looked at the window again, and there was no one in the room. I knew straight away that the woman in the photo was a ghost and showed the snap to Paul. From that point onwards, I wasn't interested in the Alcatraz tour anymore. I just kept looking at the picture over and over again. Mr. Rice has never believed in ghosts, but admits that the strange snapshot has shaken his confidence. The 50-year-old explained, when I first saw the photo, I tried to rationalise the female figure away by saying it was just Sheila's reflection. But with closer inspection, it's obvious that this was not the case at all. The woman's hair and clothing is from a different era. It looks like she's from the 1930s or 40s. I have no logical explanation for the girl in the picture. I am baffled by her. It's funny because she's staring right at the camera with a knowing look. I've seen this picture.
That's not a ghost picture. That's fake.
It is fake because it's a black and white picture.
It looks like an app.
I've seen that ghost image before.
Yeah.
I've seen it on other pictures. I used to have an app myself because you got to go through apps to check them out so you know what you're looking for when people send you photographs. And I've actually got an app with that woman on it. So that picture is 100% fake. Nothing.
I mean, initially, without checking any of the apps, because I haven't done that bit, the fact that it was taken on a phone, especially an iPhone, makes me suspicious to start with.
Yeah.
Also, there was no women in Alcatraz.
Well,
it was an all-male prison, and that's in one of the cells, so there shouldn't be a woman in there.
Well, there was, apparently, I read a bit more into it, and women did used to go to visit their partners or their sons or whoever. But looking at the picture, it's black and white. The woman's she's in black and white. It looks like an old black and white picture, and it's obviously a colour background, so I don't know how that works out.
I mean, the guy in question might not be aware of it, but the person who took the picture certainly is aware of it. She might have showed, whoever the 50-year-old who was with her, say, "Oh, look at this," and he's convinced because he might not be aware of apps. But you have to. I mean, everybody out there in the paranormal world, in the community, needs really to download the apps themselves. Of course, not to use them, but just to generate pictures for themselves. Not, you can even put them out publicly and and call them fake, as long as you advertise the fact that these are fake for educational purposes. So people, because everybody out there gets emailed so many pictures from different people, all claiming for this, and all these pictures are hitting the newspapers, hitting the news, and they're identical, they're fake. And there's that many apps now. There's more than one.
You can't keep track of them all, can you?
There's hundreds of different ghostly images and things like that from various apps like that, and people are sending them out. And the more of these apps seem to be coming out, the more ghostly pictures are being sent in. This is what makes paranormal investigators' jobs hard. It's hard as it is, but it makes it hard. And then they try, and especially because they try to push that off as being credible evidence, and they'll say, "Oh well, I was there when I took this picture, and I swear it was a ghost." No, it's not a ghost, so therefore you're frauding. You're defrauding themselves.
The thing is, if we ever do get some kind of concrete evidence, a picture of a ghost, people are going to say it's an app. They'll never ever take any evidence because
you'll
there's
never
been
get
too
a
many
photograph,
fakes
or
and
you'll
hoaxes.
never get a photograph of a ghost or a video of a ghost that'll ever be submitted.
Look at
as evidence.
that photo that's been going around for about 10 years now of them girls.
Oh yeah.
With the little girl on her trousers and the girls crying. Now we've had that 3 times, and we've had. My mate Mum took this before we went out for a night out. My cousin took a picture of this.
And it's always recently. Yeah. We get it at least once every 2 years.
Yeah.
So many people took that same picture.
You know what I mean?
But they should know that these things are out there all the time. There was another one I saw somewhere else. That was in the newspaper. The problem is when you try to analyse these, the pictures are that good because they're imposed on the actual picture. When you do it with the app, it's processed on.
Yeah.
It's so hard to tell that from the real thing. So the only way you can really do it is to go through your apps. But like you've just been saying a minute ago, photographs and videos will never ever be accepted as evidence because nobody will ever believe it. When we go in anywhere and we take photographs and we take video evidence, technically we're going to be only using them for our own documental purposes because they're not going to be submissible evidence. The only evidence that's going to be stand up in anywhere is experiments that we can do and prove by recording and measuring weight loss or atmospheric conditions, and them are the only things that are going to be provability.
Well, we've been to a venue not long ago, was it? And they actually presented to us pictures which have ghost apps on as evidence as the place being haunted. And we looked at them and thought, I think you actually said, "Oh, I've got that app on my phone." Some
venues think you're stupid.
It was a bit embarrassing for the because I thought, why are you trying to? We've given you the money for the venue. Why are you trying to palm this off on us as evidence? So we're here. We know.
Because then you look at that and think, ooh, and then you'll spread the word. Other groups will go to that same venue. They get a boost in revenue.
It was well established as a paranormal venue.
Yeah. Some people out there, unfortunately, would go along to a venue like that and look at a picture and go, "Wow, look at that! We've got to come here." And they will because they're naive and they don't understand that that people are doing it. If that was a real picture, it wouldn't be sat there on that table just openly going, "Oh, look at it." The whole world, and plus evidence would never be accepted in the world anyway because half the world wants to believe and the other half would never accept it.
When it comes to video, it is easy to spot if it's been played with because there are traces in there that tell you that for those that know. The same with pictures, but the only picture evidence that you're ever going to be taken is 35mm. Where you've got a negative to go with it.
Them are you can get Polaroid Instamatics as well. They're pretty good because that's the picture and the negative all in one.
They're quite hard to get hold of nowadays.
They are
very expensive.
Of course they are. Yeah. But like you said, the negative is proof that is proof that there's something there on that picture and it's not been doctored with. I mean, everybody's using digital media because the only way we use it is because it's easier.
And it also doesn't cost you a fortune to print out a load of pictures that there's nothing on.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, me, Sue, and Babs went to a pub right up in the middle of nowhere, didn't we?
Yeah.
And they had pictures on the wall that said, "These are ghosts."
Something Pass, it was called.
Yeah. We looked.
Pass.
No.
No, it's it's a really old pub. It's
right, yeah.
it's the highest pub in Britain, I think. But we looked at the pictures on the wall, and we just went, well, that's a reflection of that. That's a reflection of that. Where's the ghost? And it was obvious just to look at it, and yet you still get people saying, "That's a ghost." That, and it was obvious that what they were trying to pass off as a ghost was just light refraction.
If you go and go to paranormal investigators' homes, the chances are they don't really have many pictures up on the wall of paranormal related phenomena that they've captured on camera and things like that.
Well,
But if you go in venues,
have you seen any here?
well, exactly it's the same,
Yeah.
same at mine, but you go in venues and that pubs or hotels or theatres or whatever they've got, and you can always guarantee they've got some somewhere scattered around. They can't wait to show you. Oh, now we had this taken by such and such a group who came in and visited us, and look at this. Look, you see all that. And you think, no, I don't
That
buy
pub was called the Kirkstone Pass in Ambleside in the Lake District.
it.
So
That's got ghosts. That,
apparently.
they've got pictures to prove it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the one we were talking
That's
about.
one we was talking about.
The intro.
They were showing.
It's a lovely ride out there, though.
Oh yeah.
Countryside is beautiful.
But some of the pictures they had, we actually debunked them straight away.
Yeah, you can. I mean, you can like Steve just said.
And they weren't even apps. They were light refraction.
Yeah.
It's like you got the light reflection, and people obviously some people look in the room, excuse me, and they'd say, well, there's nothing in here really that creates a light reflection, but people don't really use barometers to check the moisture or the humidity in the air anymore, because moisture in the air can contain droplets that can cause flashbacks, and then the paint on the walls and the white, or some of the chemicals that's in the wall. There's so many different polished surfaces. There's so many different scenarios, and people always get dust over, and molecules which they look at and think, oh, the ghosts, which people used to believe that was a first stage of manifestation. But you only have to move and you're shedding skin and things like that. But even today, I still come across people who talk about orbs and things like that and go, oh, look at this, there's a couple of orbs that is haunted, because they don't know anything other, and people might have explained to them, but they just, no, it's a ghost. And now, this technology is bad for the paranormal investigator to a degree. It can be good for some levels, i.e. with certain equipment, but I believe in the old-fashioned way of doing things, because you can't be manipulated as much in that way. But technology, as it's advanced, can be a hindrance for us.
Yeah.
The way people can just pull the wool over your eyes.
I do
was that
believe,
your last
I do
one?
believe
I've
Emma's
got
got one more.
Yeah.
Okay.
UFOs. So unexplained sheep attacks caused by aliens in UFOs. Farmers claim a series of bizarre incidents involving sheep in Shropshire have led to farmers' claims that aliens are attacking their livestock. Farmers' nurseries reclaim to have witnessed sheep being lasered by unidentified lights from the UFOs. They have linked the unexplained incidents, where sheep's brains and eyes were removed, to the mysterious orange lights in the sky. They have found sheep with neat holes, while their brains and other internal organs have been removed. Other animals have lost eyes and had their flesh carefully stripped away, usually on the left side. Phil Hoyle, 53, who has spent almost a decade investigating how the livestock have died, said that the UFOs were found to have roamed a 50-mile corridor between Shrewsbury and Powys. Mr. Hoyle said 15 members of the Animal Pathology Field Unit claim that they witnessed UFOs at work last month while working during the night at a Welsh hill farm near Radnor Forest. The technology involved in these attacks was frightening, he told The Sun. These lights and spheres are clearly not ours. They are built by technology and intelligence that is not from here. He added, for a short while, it looked more like a Star Wars battle. Next day, he interviewed farmers, and all but one had some type of unusual experience, or disappearance of animals, or deaths with strange injuries, he told the paper.
Interesting.
Oh, yeah.
So, right, shall we get our guest on?
Yes, why not?
Since we're a little bit late, I hope he's ready. I know he's in the chat room, so let's give him a call.
Andy said it wasn't him.
Andy.
No, I guess said it wasn't him.
Oh, right.
The thing it's in his area.
Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening. How are you?
Not too bad.
Wonderful.
Nice to have you on the show.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. I'm looking forward to it.
Right. Now, Stephen Graham, I can call you Steve, can't I?
Of course, we're rude not to.
Now, you're part of a group called the Paranormal World, yes?
I wouldn't say it's a group. I'd say it was just me, but that was the name I give myself. Yes.
Right. Okay. So you're part of the Paranormal. Oh, you are the Paranormal World.
I am the Paranormal World.
What is it all about then, Steve?
What's the Paranormal World about? Well, I started off the Paranormal World. Unlike most people, I'm not into politics, and I'm not into dictatorship and stuff. So I've been with a few organizations over the years, and I find that organizations, for whatever reason, go different ways, and I had my own views and opinions to which I cherish. So I thought I'd go myself. I thought I'd just do my own little thing, and...
Excuse me, Steve, can I interrupt you there for a minute?
Yeah.
Can you move the mic a little bit further away from your mouth? It's distorting slightly on air.
Oh, sorry, I'm on top of the range, top brand new computer, so it's an inbuilt mic, actually.
All right, okay. We'll just carry on.
That's better.
I'm standing in the back garden now.
Right. Carry on, Steve.
Sorry, I was saying, I started my own organisation called the Paranormal World, and I had a wonderful opportunity presented to me. At the time, I was working for another organisation, a very large organisation actually, to investigate what you now know as the most haunted castle in Wales, Craig Y Nos Castle. I was given an opportunity to go there with this organisation, with which we went, and we did a one-day presentation and an all-night investigation, and over 300 people turned up. And I thought, oh my God, what's going on here? You can't investigate with 300 people. Anyway, it just progressed from there for Craig Y Nos Castle. We were asked to come back, and I got in partnership with Crystal Serenades Publications at that time, at Kelly Burnell, and well, we just started. I started what I believe to be a very simple concept of what are now called ghost tours. My understanding of ghost tours at the time were ghost tours where people dressed up and told ghost stories. I wanted to take that one step further, let people experience for themselves the true concept of what I believed to be paranormal activity, and in my opinion, maybe paranormal. Yeah. So I started the ghost tours at Craig Y Nos Castle in 2002, and have progressed since then.
Really? 2002? That seems an age away.
It's a long time ago.
12 years?
Yeah, well, I've been to the castle before that, obviously, but I became full-time at the castle doing the tours in 2002, but I've been there, obviously, with other organisations doing tours investigations, so yes.
So what happens when people booked, because obviously other organisations book, what happens when they book? I take it they can book.
Yes, of course. That's the beautiful thing about Craig Y Nos Castle. I don't believe in exclusivity. You have, and I'm not being disparaging or disrespectful to organisations out there, but you have organisations that when they have a venue, they only want them to go into it. They don't want them to investigate.
Yeah.
I personally am not into that. I'm into sharing. Let's share. I'm like a 60 sort of guy. Let's all love each other. Let's share the information that we have. Yeah. Let's pass it around. So I encourage other groups and organisations. Gentleman, your hub there, Mr. Andrews, and his organisation, they have been to Craig Y Nos Castle by the coachload. So, I certainly am encouraging that. So when people, I tell them, please come along, enjoy yourself. And I try not to give them anything. Most people will always go on the internet and try and find out what's going on and what's been experienced there before. I always tell people, don't have no preconceived ideas. Forget what you've read on the internet. Just come and do your own thing and experience for yourself.
Right, so before Paranormal World started, was you in the paranormal then? Was you doing anything?
Yes, I was with an organisation called Ghost UK at the time. And Mr. David V, a good friend of mine. I don't think it still does exist, but just not to the extent that it used to. I used to have like 10 or 12,000 online members, but that's all it was, an online forum, really. And I was with them. But before that, I used to do it by myself. I used to look for ghosts. I suppose like most people, I get into the concept of ghosts and spirits. As a young boy, I remember watching Boris Karloff and the horrors then, and the Hammer House of Horrors. And I get into the concept of it, and I had an experience at 15, and since then I was sort of intrigued by it. But I came from a somewhat religious family, so it was not. The Holy Spirit I heard about was the Holy Spirit, so when I got an opportunity to look into the concept of ghosts, I was totally blew away by the whole concept of it. But at the end, in those days, there wasn't much talk about ghosts or spirits. It was not a big thing, you know. It was a no-no, really. And that's, for me, that was like, well, why didn't people not talking about it? I love to talk about these things. So then you go to a local library, I started reading books, and I know there wasn't, again, there's another factor. There aren't many books out there. You know, you have people who create their own books, how to investigate and stuff, but there's not really many good books on the subject of ghosts and spirits and the concept of them, you know?
Yeah.
So that's another downside of the concept of the paranormal. What was you saying? Sorry, I just lost the thought there. Yeah, I'm nervous. You see, I'm all nervous now. You got me all trembling here. What is it? Before that, so as I get into the concept of the paranormal, like I said, I experienced myself, and then from then, I just started researching books and watching programs, and then, of course, we had the explosion of, and you can't knock them, Most Haunted.
Yeah.
When they came along, obviously they're a godsend to any paranormal investigator, because they weren't the authority. They certainly weren't the authority, but on the first show they were very, very good, and they sort of give people a better idea and a better understanding of the concept of the paranormal. And that's, the more I was watching these shows, the more intrigued I was getting and seeing different people's views and opinions, and it starts to open your eyes as to, you know, at one time of doing this in the paranormal world, I was actually thinking, do ghosts really exist? Because I was doubting the things that I've experienced, because I was able, after years of doing it, but I've been doing this for 23 years, and over the years I've started to understand as to how and why. I went to such a level to understand the concept of paranormal that I studied hypnotherapy. I wanted to understand how the brain could perceive things and why I perceive things, so I went down that road as well. Yeah. So I looked at all different aspects of the concept of paranormal and why or how it could occur, until I am where I am today, basically.
Now, what are you for Craig Y Nos?
What am I? I'm a pain in the backside most of the times. What am I? I'm their investigator. I'm their host for ghost tours. I'm not the only person who does it. There are other people, but I'm their main investigator and their host for their online tours and for people who want to go on investigations. So I'm the guy that you will meet on tours. You know, you book a tour, I'm the guy who'll take you around, do a few experiments, depending on what you booked, you know. Because bear in mind that the tour started in 2000. I started tours in 2002, and the tours lasted for an hour. And in an hour, you can't really explain the concept of the paranormal to anyone. I don't care how good you are. You can just give them a brief insight. And people I found wanted more and more and more. And we started these tours, like I said, it only lasted 1 hour. Then it went to 2 hours. And then it went to 3 hours. And I thought, this is really, you know, I'm enjoying what I'm doing. The castle enjoyed what we're doing. More people were coming to visit all the time. The tours got really busy. But yeah, the unfortunate thing was I actually worked for 3 months for Lord Gower free of charge at the time, because I wanted to investigate so much. I said, listen, I'll cook for you, because I'm a qualified chef. I'll cook for you for 3 months if you let me have a free office, free telephone, and let me do the tours. And it was a win-win situation for me. And like I said, I'm in a privileged position, a very privileged position compared to most people. You know, most people got to go out there and find venues. I don't have that problem. I investigate every single week. Yeah. You know, that's the beauty of what I don't know if you've done any research. You will see that way back in 2004, 2005 and 6, I spent over £30,000 on equipment to properly investigate sound equipment, video, audio. We went the full hog, put it all into place, and we captured some wonderful, wonderful stuff. And we also debunked a load of stuff that we actually thought at the time, wow, this has got to be paranormal. Yeah. You know, so it's for me and the castle, it's a win-win situation, you know? Right.
Now, tell us a bit about Craig Y Nos. Now, obviously, it's a big place. Do you get all of it when you investigate? I believe they call it the Rock of the Night in English.
That is right. Craig Y Nos means Rock of the Night.
And it's a Victorian Gothic country house in Wales.
I wouldn't say it's a house.
Right.
It does look like a castle, but it's more of a folly. A castle's built for defence, isn't it? So it's Madame Patty, this lady, I can assure you, and most people, to be honest, have never heard of her. If you ask anyone, never heard of her. In the opera world, she was the diva. I'm telling you, she was the biggest name out there. And people say, well, how come we've never heard of her? Well, it's very simple. When she died in 1919, a thing called the Spanish flu, which something the First World War wiped a lot of people out, the older generation. So obviously those people were wiped out, so that's hence the reason why nobody's really ever heard of her. But in her days, like, she was a personal vocalist to the Queen Victoria.
Yeah.
She had the Tsar and Tsarina of Russia stay in her home. She's had the Prince of Wales was a regular visitor. Mm-hmm. You know, this lady was a massive, massive diva. So I certainly wouldn't call it a country home. It definitely is a castle. That is without doubt.
Right. Okay. Now, after her death in 1919, if I'm not mistaken, it became a tuberculosis sanitarium. Is that correct?
That is, and believe it or not, that's probably what most of the things that people experience at Craig Y Nos Castle, right, and they go through investigate. That's what they will experience. Yes, in 1922 it became a tuberculosis hospital. In the first 4 years of that place opening, 30,000 people had passed through its doors. That is a ludicrous amount of people. But again, TB was right. People were just dying. What they called the Forgotten Hospital. Yeah. And the reason, because people of young age, young babies normally, would come there, the parents would just drop them off and leave them. You know, it's like, goodbye, missing you already because I'm not going to see you again. Yeah. That's how bad tuberculosis was in the early 1920s. Yeah. You know, and the children are, as I say, because we're so young, that's why we believe we experience a lot of them that still remain there, because to them that was their home. They were happy to reside there. They didn't know anywhere else. They were so young. They knew the nurses as probably family members, maybe, or close, or treated them like family members, maybe. And that's why we believe that the children still remain on the upper floors.
Yeah. There's normally when you go into places, there's normally children about, but when it's something prolific like that, then there's quite a few, and I think that's what comes through a lot mostly is the children. Yeah,
that's what we experience mostly on the upper floors. Although it's not just that we experience. Yeah. No, like for example, the founder of mediumship and spirituality in this country, Arthur Conan Doyle, everyone knows him. Yeah. He actually stayed at Craig Y Nos Castle and made a play about Madame Patty. So the concept of what we do there, seances, table tipping, empty circle, etc., is not inconceivable. It's no doubt in my mind that when Arthur Conan Doyle was there, he without doubt did all these sort of experiments. As you know, he's the founder, but he was a great friend of Harry Houdini's. Yeah. And as you know, Houdini was the guy that debunked mediumship and spirituality. So it's like, wow, it swings and roundabouts. You know what I mean? It's, for me, the history of the castle is unbelievable. There's a young guy actually that has helped us a great deal out at the castle. Zach Garrison, he's from America. He's just a young guy, he's only 18, but he's bang into Madame Patty. He knows more about Madame Patty than I think anyone else I've ever met knows. Yeah. So it goes to show that her name is getting back out there in that circle. I don't know, probably an upper buff, maybe, I'm not 100% sure, but it shows that the name Madame Patty is getting back out and people are starting to show a little more interest in who she really was. In relation to the ghost, and I have to say this, people ask me all the time, so I'm going to tell you. People ask me all the time, have I ever seen Madame Patty? Well, brace yourselves. Are you holding on? The answer is no, I have not. In all the years I have been there, I have never seen Madame Patty. However, I have recorded her voice, what we believe the residual energy, throughout the fabric of the building, singing. I have recorded dozens of times. We have the children, the most commonest one is the children laughing. That's quite eerie at times, to be honest. Yeah. But it's good fun as well. We have that on a very regular basis, to be truly honest with you. But you see, as a hospital, there were young children that died, or mostly young children. But like I said, they got a grip of tuberculosis, didn't they, in 1927, 28. So I think the children that remain there are from that era, in my personal opinion, but I may be wrong, and I don't know. Sorry, what was the question again?
I don't think there was.
I'm terrible. I'm in a
You asked
trance
your own
now.
question.
You know, sorry, I just
Hey,
rambling off along.
I got one for you, Steve.
Yeah.
Regarding Madam Patty, have you ever tried playing her music to see if she'd materialise to it?
Yes, we did. We did
In the theatre.
they all say "Home Sweet Home" is the song, is the one that she loved the most. Yeah. So in her theatre is absolutely stunning. It's the last of its kind in the world, to be honest. It's a real jewel. If you get an opportunity, please come and have a look at it. We'd love to have you. We'd love to have you come down. Please feel free any time. But we did a mass seance on her birthday. And we had about 30 people. We all stood there, and in the background, you can imagine it now. When you're pitching the scene, it is pitch black. We have 2 speakers in the front, 2 in the back, so like a bit of surround sound going on. And we have this Home Sweet Home playing in the background, and everyone's holding hands, and the energy's going around. You could have heard a pin drop. You know, it's one of those, everyone was waiting with bated breath.
Yeah.
But no, nothing. I was totally let down and disappointed.
I don't know.
So I didn't have Madame Patty night, sorry.
What about her second husband, the French tenor Nicolina, or the object of her affection, the composer Rossini?
Oh, now you're getting into the juice, aren't you? Now you want to go down nitty gritty, don't you, eh? They say there's a lot of talk, okay? So, as I say, there's not a lot of history on Madame Patty, because, you know, a lot of people died when she died, and the history was lost. Rossini, now if you go into the theatre, you will see that Rossini takes pride of place. He is bang smack in the middle of the theatre. As you walk in, his name is right there above the stage. She had a massive thing for Rossini, a massive thing. And as you probably know, she wanted to be buried with Rossini. Now, people think she is. I'm going to spoil the illusion. I'm sorry about this. She isn't buried with Rossini.
No.
They are buried in the same graveyard, and they are buried about 150 yards apart. Rossini has his own crypt, and Madame Patty has her own little grave spot, and she's buried under the name of Adelina Patty Cederstrom, buried under her last husband's name. So
she's buried in Paris, isn't she?
She's buried in Paris. That is correct, and we have gone to Paris to see the grave and show our respects. And I stood for an hour discussing what I did there. I don't know if she ever heard me, if she's actually there.
Yeah.
But I thought it would be a nice thing to do, to say, you know, I'm at your house, and I run about and I do seances and all these sort of things, and I hope you don't mind, and it'd be wonderful if you could join in one night. Any night would be really good if you join in just once. But there are people, believe it or not, who think they have seen Madame Patty. I myself personally have not.
No.
But there are one gentleman in question, which is a good story actually. A gentleman in question, he's a musician, and he was sitting at the bar, and whether he dozed off or not, nobody's really sure, but he's sitting at the bar, and he woke up in this chair at the side of the bar, and this lady was sitting in front of him, and she said, "Oh, you're a musician?" He says, "No, I'm a percussionist, I play the drums." "Oh, so you're not a musician then?" And he said, "No, but play percussion, really." And he turns to his friend at the bar, and like, you know, one of those nods, "Who's this mad woman here?" You know, like you do.
Yeah.
And he turned around and there was nobody there. So, you know, did he dream that, or because the pictures that are all around the castle of Madame Patty, is it something that he dreamed up in his mind, or did it really happen? I don't know.
Right. So there's children on the top floor, is that right?
That is correct. Everyone loves to go and see the children's ward, because it's still to this day not perfect like a hospital ward, but it still has the old globes, and the beds are laid out to give you a rough idea of how it used to be, because bars in the window because we're young children. Yes, it's very, very much. Again, it's, for me personally, I can see a lot of people who can get emotional because they imagine young children being in a hospital bed, and nobody likes to see children. Nobody likes to see anybody in a hospital, but especially when you have young children, you have the emotional content there. You know, it's for some people it's very emotional. But up there during seances, I did a wonderful session only a few weeks ago, and I'm not a big lover of modern technology, if I'm totally honest with you. You know, I think we should all go back to the basics instead of relying on science too much, maybe because we rely on science too heavily for my likings. But I did a session. You all heard of the Ghost Box. I'm sure you've all heard of that.
Yeah.
Okay, I did a wonderful session with that, and during the session, there was this laughter. And again, it could be radio frequencies, who knows? But it was starting to reply. But at the same time, and I've got photographs here I received from the other night's tour. We had these dancing balls of light. Now, I know people talk about orbs and how they're created by moisture, dust, yada 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 yada, and I get all that. However, this was just something different. You know, it was because before orbs was a thing called rods, which were more thought about at the time, and when this happened through the ghost box, I asked, well, if you really are there, can you do something for us? And lo and behold, I can only describe it as a pulsating light, which was rather strange. But we do hear the children quite regularly laughing. They run about, and they also have a thing we call a bouncing ball.
Yeah, that
is quite cool when you hear that. That's such a wonderful thing. The ball bouncing on the top floor. A little eerie at times, but again, it's that's what you want. That's what you're there for. You know, nobody's going to hurt you in any way, I don't believe. So that's another good aspect with the castle. The only thing is, you're not always guaranteed. People think they come to the most haunted castle in Wales. They're guaranteed. There's no guarantees. There's never any guarantees whatsoever. I wish there was.
Yeah.
I wish I could tell everybody, yes, come on Friday night. You're guaranteed at 10 o'clock this is going to happen. Next show's at 12. You know, unfortunately, that's not how it works.
No. Can't turn it on like a light switch, can you?
I wish I could, to be honest with you. It'd be wonderful, wouldn't it? That we could now show the whole world the true concept of the paranormal, but I cannot switch it. I know people say I'm God, but I'm not really, and I can't make it happen.
Okay. Now the hotel, it's now a hotel, isn't it?
It certainly is.
So how do you work around the ghost nights of them when it's a working hotel?
Well, that's quite simple. We don't do them. When the castle is used, it's a wonderful weddings functions house. So they do a lot of weddings a year. So we don't do paranormal investigating whatsoever or ghost tours on those nights because there's too much noise. People are getting on it's a wedding, aren't they? For goodness sake, you're out having a great time. You don't be running around looking for ghosts. But during midweek and some weekends when they're taken up with weddings, that's when we host them, you know. And people who come, believe it or not, most people who come to the castle, other than the weddings, are for the ghosts. It has a wonderful reputation. You know, everything you get included in the price is your evening meal, your accommodation. So it's all inclusive. So it's a night away as well, and it gives you a better understanding. You know, because people watch programs, like I said, like Most Haunted and Ghost Hunters and all these sort of programs, and they think that's what it's about, and really it's not. You know, that's television. Television and real life are two completely different things.
Oh, definitely.
And you know, so when you see them on television, they're doing seances or energy circles or whatever they may be doing. They're doing that for the television. When you're sitting there and you're sitting in a cellar, you know, and they're always they're a little embarrassed, they laugh and they giggle, you know, nervous laughter, and then they go from that. They actually see that it can be very real.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why they book it, because they're going to. Of course, and this is the big problem I always find. You know, you already have the word Most Haunted Castle. You already have the word Ghost Tour.
Yeah.
These things already puts an image in your mind. You know, when let's go into a dark cellar. Hollywood has done their job, haven't they? When they say don't go in the cellar, you know what's going to happen.
Oh yeah.
You know, so it's unfortunately, you know, we're guilty of that as well. You know, spoil it for ourselves, I suppose.
Yeah.
In one sense.
So you're saying you do them mostly in the weekdays?
It's mostly done during the week. Although we do weekends as well. What I done was, I'll be honest, I find the paranormal investigating. Most people who want to paranormal investigate or look for ghosts do so in winter time.
Yeah.
Okay. When it's dark, I have no idea why that is, but that's just the way people perceive it. They think ghosts only come out when it's dark, and that's fine. So winter, you can be sure the castle is fully booked up. It's non-stop every single week, hammered. But then comes summer, no one wants to look for ghosts.
No.
They're too busy out sunbathing themselves with a bottle of whatever they're drinking and on their holidays or whatever. And so what I done was, and this is an actual clever, I think it was a clever thing to do. I did a thing called what they call a lead-in. I did a thing called a fun fright night.
Yeah.
What I do is I have 16 people, 16 actors and actresses. I have them dress up. If you're the person who booked it, I have you give me all information about the people on that tour. And then what we do is we reiterate some information, jump out and scare the living daylights out of them. Now, it's only fun and they're very much aware of that. However, I find that when we do that, we have people thinking, wow, I'd love to come do the real thing as well. So that's what I try and do. I try and use the fun side of it, like Halloween is a fun thing.
Yeah.
It's a joyous occasion. I try and use that to encourage people to come back and experience the real thing for themselves.
Yeah.
If that sort of makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds good.
On one of these little Fright Nights of yours where you're scaring people,
Yeah. Sorry?
have you ever had somebody actually get scared by something?
Oh, I'm glad you asked me that question, actually. It was, I started off, like I said, about a year ago doing the Fright Nights. It was just a new concept. And what happened was we had a small group, we had about 12 girls. You can imagine 12 females, vulnerable, susceptible, in a dark building. You know, if you broke window to scream, you know one of those ones? Anyway, we're in the children's ward and we're doing our thing. And then the flashing lights and stuff and the sound going. And then all of a sudden, honestly, I can't believe this happened. I stopped the whole Fright Night. We have a command in the earpiece, so everyone knows to put what they call emergency lighting on, to put the lightings on and all that sort of stuff. A child, now bear in mind these are all adults in their 20s to 30 years of age. There are 12 to 14 of these women all sitting in a circle.
Yeah.
And behind the people that were in front of me, this young girl walks past and walks towards the corner of the room. Well, I was totally blew away. The people watching, they weren't frightened because they thought that we had produced some sort of hologram to cross in front of them. But it was actually real. It was a total awesome experience, but we couldn't use it because we did have flashing lights.
Yeah.
We did have animatronics. We did have sound, and I was all like, oh no, I can't believe this is actually happening. I think it was the children saying, you see, this is what you get. This is what you get for having fun Fright Nights. Or maybe they were just joining in.
Yeah.
I don't know. It could have been that. But yeah, we had an experience like that where not only haven't frightened the client, is because, like I say, they think it's part of the whole, which works better for us, because we've had people who said, what do you feel? People always feel giraffes and castles, of course they do, in the cellars. But we have people who actually genuinely, oh my God, something just went through my body or something there. And we don't know if it's really their experience in that, and something paranormal actually did happen, or it was just their own senses and fear took over because it's a Fright Night.
Yeah.
If that sort of makes sense, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we're sort of destroying it for ourselves at times as well, which I kick myself about on a regular basis.
So basically, one thing I want to know is what kind of experiments do you do on the night?
We do various things. Again, this depends on the groups. You know, you get some groups that come and they're absolutely petrified. Honestly, they've built themselves up. They've watched the most haunted, because as you know, most haunted is at Craig Y Nos Castle.
Yeah.
And they said, Richard Felix says, it's the most frightening place you'd ever been, yada, yada, yada. Well, I'm sure it was for him. Not for me, I don't get frightened, but for him it is. And other people or watch these shows and they say, oh my God, it must be really, really scary and frightening. And they come and they're all hyped up and they're adrenaline and they're really frightened. They're really, really frightened. So it depends on the actual people at that time. Each time and each tour is completely different.
Yeah.
There's no two tours the same, and that's because of the individual people. You'll have people who are bang into it, and then you'll start off, you'll do table tipping, energy circles, then we'll do some spiritual experiments, like a pendulum, we'll do some of that, automatic writing. It all depends on how involved that group is.
Yeah.
If they're not really into it, you stick to the very basic and simple things that they understand about. You know, because I always say to people, you know, they always say, well, we don't really know. I say, you really do know about the ghosts and stuff. I say, and they'll say, no, I don't. I say, yes, you do. I'll say, have you ever heard of knock once for yes and twice for no? And they go, yeah, we've heard it. I'll say, well, that was the people are called the Fox Sisters, and they were the people that devised the experiment called table tipping that you're going to participate in. And they're sort of like, wow, I knew that, but didn't know it. Does that make sense? Because we all know stuff, and it's just when people trigger it in our minds, it springs back. So again, I can't pinpoint and say this. We do this experiment or that experiment, because each one is completely different.
Yeah. So basically, when people book on this, it's obviously the weekdays, unless you can maybe get a weekend.
If you go to the website, if you go to mosthauntedcastle.com,
Yeah.
I have to throw that in there, sorry.
Yes.
If you go to mosthauntedcastle.com, you will see on there they have a whole page dedicated to dates for tours and investigations. So there's 3 different tours. There's a share the experience, then you have the fun Friday night, and then you have the all-night investigation. But then we started something called a ghost tour, a GHOST, all in capital letters, and that was for people because on our share the experience tours, you have to have 10 people or more, so you can have the night for yourself. So what people say, well, we haven't got 10 people. And I say, that's cool. So Lord Gower, he said, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll start one where we'll have just people who come in 2s and 3s. What we'll do is we'll have a special tour just for them. We'll do it once a month, guaranteed. It's going to happen on one date every single month. Bang. Just for a couple of people or 3 people or 4 people, whatever it may be. And that, again, has worked very well. Because, as you know, sometimes it's hard to get 10 people. And there's really you and your husband, because it's usually the women are into it, my wife's dragged me along, so they want to come along for a ghost night. There's always one date every month available just for them.
Yeah. So basically, looking at your at the website, you've got like an all-night paranormal investigation.
Yeah.
£99 a head, which is double bedroom and breakfast.
3-course evening meal.
And an evening meal.
Oh yeah, that's usually the sauna. Yeah, you get the sauna, the jacuzzi, the solarium. Right. You get use of all that. Then, of course, the next morning you get a full 1-hour history tour. So not only do you get the paranormal side and the ghost side of it the night before, you also get an opportunity to see the castle again in daylight perfectly.
Yeah. So
you can now get to see, when you're in the Madame Patty's boudoir, or you're in stateroom 1 or the children's wards. You then can see in daylight, when all the curtains are open, everything's all nice and bright, the whole, exactly what it is, so you can see, I remember that last night, I don't remember seeing that, and you get a better perspective of the castle. We want you to come to the castle, we want you to enjoy your time there, not just come, look for ghosts and go away. We have other aspects of the castle, we'd love you to learn about the history and the hauntings of it, of course you would, but we also got other things at the castle, we got beautiful surroundings, we want to share that with people as well, so it's, I'm sort of like a versatile ghost writer. I'm sort of like a tourist attracts them.
You obviously love it, Steve.
I love what I can honestly tell you. I love what I'm like I say, I'm very privileged to be in such a position. I love Craig and Craig and Nos, if I'm honest with you, and anyone who's ever been there will tell you, it's a quirky little venue. You have to either, when you go in and you think of a castle, you're thinking medieval or something gothic-y. Parts of the castle look medieval and other parts look very modern. You're stepping from one area into another. And what was true said to me once by the wedding planner, she said to me once when I first went to the castle, castle's very much like Marmite, Stephen. You either like it or you don't. It's one of those places. And I remember when Sally Morgan, you now know her as Psychic Sally.
Yeah.
I remember her. I would like to share this story. It's quite a good story. I met her. She had just, and I had signed a contract with Living TV at the time, and she was there with her husband John and another lady. I don't know who the other lady was, to be honest. And she didn't make herself known of who she was. Anyway, she came to ghost tour, and I always like to ask people, how many people here believe they may have an ability to communicate with? I like to ask these questions because people experience all the time, and they don't know, because we all have natural gifts and abilities, however they're suppressed from the day of your birth. You're told there's no such thing as ghosts, and you haven't got invisible friends, you can't hear people aren't in front of you. And we know this to be untrue, because mediumship and spirituality then wouldn't exist. It's a fair comment, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, anyway, I always did that sort of presentation, and so this Sally Morgan, Psychic Sally, she's on the tour, and I will tell you this, and it was quite an interesting thing. We were in a room called John Mellon. Now, not many people know about this, it's because of the history of the castle. John Mellon was believed to be an employee there. Okay, so, and he hung himself in 1874. Now, Sally Morgan, she was there, and she went into this room, and she went, I've got a sensation of someone hanging. I said, oh, really, have you? Now, bear in mind, and I'm not really into all these TV celebrities, this information was not privy to anyone else. No. This is something I can honestly say, they should not privy to that sort of information. And then, what was really cool, is she was into the next room, she was now saying, I got a sensation of somebody being hanged here, which is true, but I don't want to spoil it for other people who go on the tour, so I don't want to give you all the information, yeah? And then we went into the next room, and the room it's called Charlotte's room. And there's a reason why it's called that, which I don't want to spoil. And she in the next room, she went, she says, I got a sensation of a young lady called Charlotte, and she's a lover of this. And I was like, have you been in this tour before? You know, one of those, where did you get this information from? But what really rocked my world the most, and she did for me, make me see the castle in a different view.
Yeah.
She said at the end of the tour, she said, oh, just one more thing, she said. This gentleman who hung himself, he writ his name, she said. How rude of me. Wrote his name. He's wrote his name in somewhere upstairs on the floors upstairs on the upper floor. She says, I think it's in the turret. Now, no one, this is the cool part, no one had access to these turrets. You couldn't go up there. It's impossible. It's locked. You couldn't get up. So anyway, I goes up myself this one day, the following morning actually, because it's like a bull at a gate. I goes up, and lo and behold, in the turret, it says, John Mellon, 1874. Wow. How cool is that?
Yeah.
That was an awesome experience. Well, I just thought I'd share that because it's an awesome experience. And I love telling people that story because I think it shows that things do go on that we, as individuals, don't get to see or hear or even experience. And sometimes we have to trust the people that we're with. And that's a problem with tours. You know, some people come for fun, some people are serious. And when you're experiencing tours, things do happen to you. So I always say, let your mind go, you know, as if you're lying in a bath with a glass of wine and a couple of candles. Not that I do that, of course. I want you to make that clear. I don't lie in the bath with candles and a glass of wine. That'd be rude. But, you know, I want people to get that sensation and really, please come and see us. We would love to have you for a night. We'd love to have you there for a night and experience for yourselves. And then hopefully you come back on your show and say, you know, we went to Craig Y Nos and we met Steve, and guess what? We experienced this, and this.
Well, as I said to you before, you know, if we'd love to find places where we can actually broadcast from there.
Well, we would have absolutely no problem whatsoever. I can assure you of you coming down for a visit and broadcasting live. Yeah. That would be a wonderful show. It would, and we'd be happy to have you.
Yeah, we'll have to discuss that in the future.
We certainly will. It'd be my pleasure to have you.
Okay. Now the other thing, looking on the website. Now, you've mentioned Most Haunted have investigated the place.
Yes.
There was, I don't think it's part and parcel to the actual investigation, but I believe there was an alleged dark, semi-transparent lady on the stairs that was discovered to be a statuette.
Okay. This caused so much controversy. Mm-hmm. Basically what happens is, depending on where the sun comes up, okay?
Yeah.
So if the sun's out, not that it suns very often in Wales, I'll have you know, it's mostly rain and wet. But when the sun does come out, there is a statue, an operatic statue, on the top of the theatre. Mm-hmm. And as the sun passes, which is really cool, if you go to what they call the haunted floor, it's the actual staircase of Madame Patty.
Yeah.
There's a little window at the side that you wouldn't even notice. And as the sun passes the statue, it emanates a figure on the staircase. So people at the bottom of the staircase will look up and they'll go, oh my God, there's a black shadow of a woman there. It's not really, it's the shadow from across the theatre.
Yeah.
But it's a good talking point. Yes, it certainly has been, and has caused a lot of people to freak out a little, to be honest.
I bet.
Yeah.
But as I say, not only Most Haunted's filmed there, have they? You've also had the crew from Doctor Who and Touchwood.
We've had them all. We've had lots of celebrities. Like I say, Craig Y Nos Castle, it's a wonderful venue. And Doctor Who, I'm not a big Doctor Who fan, to be honest with you. You know, but Billy Piper, when I was the chef at the time, and when Billy was there, and you know, it was nice to have them there. But like I say, I'm not really keen on the old Doctor Who. But yes, we've had lots of people and lots of celebrities that have come to the castle.
Yeah.
It's been viewed on a lot of holiday shows. It's been on them wedding programs, you know. I don't know what the wedding program's called. I don't recall the name now, but it was on a wedding show where they do a wedding for you, you know, celebrity weddings or something.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, been there. Like I say, there's lots of variety. So it gets good press, to be honest with you.
Yeah, because it does do a lot of weddings, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, it does around 85, 90 weddings, 100 weddings a year. I'm not quite sure the number, but they do a hell of a lot of. Sorry, they do a great deal of weddings there. Yes, and it's not too bad. The prices are wonderful as well. I thought I'd throw that in.
Yeah, well, not. But excuse you.
Sorry, I apologise.
It's okay. So
I'm getting excited again.
So basically, as I say, Craig Y Nos really does sound like a brilliant place. I'd love to come down. I really would. You
should come down. You should do a live broadcast. That would be an awesome night, I think.
Yeah.
And you could obviously use our cameras and link them with your cameras. So you would have like 50 or 20 cameras that people can watch while you're talking. So that would be an absolutely awesome effect.
Yeah, maybe as Chris suggested once about having a live audience down there.
Well, why not?
Yeah.
Let's go for it. Let's not talk about it. Let's just do it. Let's just get on and get it done. You know, let's get out there and spread the joy.
Yeah, why not? So keep the paranormal friendly and all that.
Well, yeah, exactly. My sentiments exactly.
Yeah, so we'll have to figure something out about that.
Yes. Well, obviously we'll get in contact and relation to that. No problem at all.
Now, Steve, what do you envisage is going to happen in the years ahead with yourself and with paranormal and with Craig Y Nos?
If I'm totally honest with you, as money's been pumped, and believe me, the gentleman who owns the castle has spent millions of pounds trying to get it back to its original state. And if you haven't got millions, you know, the gentleman bought it for his 40th birthday, as you do.
Yeah.
Buy yourself a castle. He bought it for his 40th birthday, and I think he did it on a whim, maybe at the time, and didn't realise the implications of actually owning a Grade 1 castle and the cost of doing one up. And, well, anyway, they're slowly but surely doing each room up one room at a time, costing 30 or 40 grand at a time to do one room. Eventually, them haunted, what we call the haunted floors, they will become suites. They will put them back to the original suites as they were, hopefully, in the days of Madame Patty. You would have Madame Patty's boudoir, stateroom 1, stateroom 2. These will hopefully go back into the original suites. So what will happen to me at the castle? Well, obviously, I won't do the ghost tours anymore. That'll cease. Obviously, I've got other venues you can go to. But for me, the paranormal, hopefully I'll keep looking into the paranormal for the next foreseeable 30 or 40 years, you know. I'll still continue doing what I'm doing, or hopefully continue doing what I'm doing. And for the castle, it will flourish. The castle, in time, will flourish. Like I said, it's going to take years to put the castle back to its original state. And the weddings certainly do help with the cost of a wedding these days. But again, it does some wonderful deals to bring money to the castle so we can renovate it. So, you know, I wish him all the best for that. It's certainly going to happen at one stage. But for me, the paranormal, I've always been into the paranormal. I love the paranormal with a passion. I'm sure you can tell I love Craig Y Nos Castle with a passion. So I have the same passion for the concept of the paranormal, and hopefully I will still be able to continue doing what I'm doing and sharing my views and opinions. My opinions may not always be correct and they may not always be right, but at least I have an opinion. You know, I don't sit there and just watch a screen and go, that's rubbish that, you know what I mean? Yeah. I'm out there, I'm doing my bit, and I'm trying to understand, I'm trying to learn more, I'm learning from other people all the time, you know, and hopefully I'm going to pass this information on to someone else, maybe a tad, maybe when I meet people on the okay, I've always wanted to meet someone who wanted to be part of the organisation or what I do, not the organization, but want to do what I do and seeing the vision that I have and maybe pass on the knowledge, wisdom, understanding that I have and the things that I've learned onto them, and hopefully they will carry that on and spread the word, and hopefully, you know, we'll take it from there, and the paranormal will be out there all over the world. You know, I've had opportunities, I've been to America giving talks and stuff, and, you know, I love doing what I do, and I pray to God that I don't stop for at least 40 years.
Yeah.
After I'm getting too old, then my old legs will give up, I think. Give up the ghost.
Yeah.
Well, excuse the pun.
Yeah. Steve's got a question for you.
Forgetting Craig Y Nos, that's quite obvious. What would you say was the best venue you ever went to?
That's a good question. I have a couple of venues, but for me, if I'm totally honest, I had an experience at Chingle Hall that I will never, ever forget.
Right.
Would you like to know about it? Or?
Sorry,
Yeah.
so
Yes.
Okay.
Jingle, bloody all. Go on, tell us about it, Steve.
Okay, what happened was, Chingle Hall, which is in Gusna, outside Blackpool. Yeah, what happened was, I was invited one night by an old friend of mine, Mr. David V. He asked me, he said, you would like to go up to Chingle Hall? I said, yeah, Chingle Hall, I've heard all about it, I heard all the stories, yada, 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 yada. And anyway, I went this one night, I was sitting in what they call the Great Hall. Chingle Hall is like a little house, really. It's not really that big, but it does have a beautiful little chapel that's been anointed by the Catholic and Protestant churches and acknowledged as a chapel, so you can't actually get married there. Anyway, I was sitting in what they call the Great Hall. It's more like a living room, or a tad bigger than a living room. And Dave was telling me, he's playing some EVPs to me and showing me some of the photographs of what people have captured on the orbs or that sort of stuff. I said, oh, that's wonderful. And I was jesting, I was making a jest. I said, it's a bit... Sorry?
Go on. Wasn't me.
All right, okay. I made this jesting comment, and as I was sitting at the table, someone or something poked me in the back, and I could feel this ice sensation. It was like a finger going through my back in towards my stomach. Now, I'm a big boy, but I only tell you, I was like Linford off that chair, and I run into the chapel. Don't ask me why I did that. It was just natural instinct. I was young, I was naive, and I bricked it.
Okay.
If I'm honest with you, for me, that was not the most scary, but the most thing that reminded me of the paranormal was that there was nobody, there was only one person sitting in front of me, there was only me and him, and it was an awesome experience.
Right. Chris said he was there.
Hey, up, lad.
Right, we've got a question in the chat room for you.
Yeah, something nice, I hope.
Yes. What would you say was the best piece of current equipment in the paranormal field, and what results have you had with it?
There's another great question. Okay, I have a vast array of equipment. And when I say a vast array, I spent thousands, and I can assure you, I became... there are no experts in the field of paranormal research by no stretch of the imagination. In relation to equipment, I try nowadays not to depend upon any equipment whatsoever. I use a voice recorder, dictaphone. I got a 35mm camera. I have an EMF meter, and that's all I try and use, to be honest with you. I have draft detectors and all that sort of stuff. I've got it all. But I try not to, because I'm relying then solely on science, and then I'm going to lose my natural skills and abilities. I'm going to lose that. Does that sort of make sense?
Yeah.
But the equipment today, gosh, that's a hard question, because there's, for example, there's some wonderful recording equipment that you can buy that has some wonderful software for the computer. Again, it's a hard question to answer. I don't, as I say, I'm not a big lover of equipment itself.
No.
So I couldn't really answer that question. But I will say to people, there is some wonderful stuff out there, but please don't become reliant on it.
Yeah.
Go back to the old school, go back to the old ways, learn stuff by yourself, don't rely on scientists, for goodness sake. Look at Stephen Hawking, for 25 years, it's a true story this, for 20 odd years, he set a criteria where people were taught about the black hole, the event horizon, yada, yada, yada. And then a number of years ago, he got on stage, he went on stage and said, you followed the criteria which I followed, I've got to tell you something, I was wrong. So billions and billions and billions of pounds have been spent to train all these people for them to be getting it wrong. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and people who devise this equipment, and don't get me wrong, people who make up equipment, they're great, good on them. And if they can show us how and why it works, then good, put it in your arsenal, but don't rely on it. No. You know what I mean? Because people do. I've been in loads of investigations with lots of groups, and some groups they've got a truckload of stuff. It takes them like 7 hours to set up.
Yeah.
You only got 12 hours to investigate. 7 hours to set up, and they got like 2 hours to break it all down again, you know. I want to get in there, get my head down, my jotter out, my pencil in my hand, my EVP recorder, my 35 million. Hi, I'm here.
Yeah.
Done and dusted. I'm ready to go. That sort of makes sense.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm ranting again.
It's okay. Martin's in chat room, and he's asked, can you truly say that you have seen a spirit or ghost and not just feelings?
I can truly say that I have truly seen 4-5 ghosts in my whole time.
Yeah?
I have actually seen one right in front of me. And what was scary about this one, and I will tell you this story very briefly. I can't name the location because it was private at the time, and I was with another organisation at the time, so I've got to be very careful what I say. But I was at this venue, and what looked or purported, what I believed, in my personal opinion, was a monk. Okay?
Yeah.
Then the monk was about 20 feet in front of me. And he's walking down towards me. Okay? Now I'm like,
yeah.
My ears are thudding. I could hear my heart so hard. It was in my ears.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to run. I was trying to act brave, although I can assure you the smell wasn't good after. But I'm looking at this thing. Now here's the interesting thing. People say what I experienced was residual.
Yeah.
I was experiencing a moment of time with the Stonewall Theory. Here's the interesting thing. That ghost that stood in front of me then took a step to the left, took 2 steps past me, and then stepped back in its original line. Now, isn't that interesting?
So it must have recognised you.
Well, it couldn't have been residual, because residual just follow its same path.
Yeah.
But it stepped around me, but then worked. So if I was standing in front of it, I was in its way, it stepped around me, and went back on its natural path.
Yeah.
So that was a pretty cool experience as well.
So,
Whoa.
right, a couple of things more in the chat room for you. Acid Sky says, I feel sorry for all these monks roaming around England's haunted places, etc.
So do I, to be honest. If the Christians, they shouldn't be there.
Somebody wants me to say hello to you.
Who's that?
It's Gary TWP from Neath.
That'd be Gary TPW, is it?
TWP.
Oh, TWP, he's got that wrong. It should be TPW.
Yeah, right,
That's Gary the idiot from Neath, yes.
Okay.
Hello, Gary. How are you? He's with his son in London. Thanks for logging in, Gary.
And Ace Paradox would like to know, you say that you should use your own, your own feelings and that, and not paranormal equipment.
No, I didn't say not use paranormal equipment.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
You prefer to use your own feelings, yeah? What is your favoured spiritual procedure?
My favourite spiritual procedure. Are they talking about experiments? Or are they talking about...
I think they're on about stuff like that, I assume. Maybe Ouija board or something.
Oh, no, listen, the Ouija board's a wonderful tool in the right hands. I don't encourage a group of 20 people to play around with it unless there's someone there who knows exactly what they're doing with it. So Ouija board for me is not the given option. My spiritualist one, gosh, I like them all, mate. I like trying any experiment. I'm honest with you. I don't have a particular favourite.
No.
I'm out there. I'm trying anything. I'm versatile. I want to give everything a go. So I don't have nothing spiritual. I like to use our natural abilities. As I explained, we have natural abilities, but they're suppressed. And I find if you're in a haunted location, and once, like I said, I went to extremes to understand the concept of the mind and how it worked, like studying hypnotherapy and stuff. And I've used that to be able to stay totally calm and relaxed, which is a very important factor. And you're in a location and you're feeling drafts and all this sort of thing. Once you've eradicated the normal drafts, the normal cold spots from where they're coming from, and I allow my body then to, like I say, I'm not a medium, I'm an extra large, but I allow myself not to become a medium, but allow myself to use these senses and to get a vision, if that sort of makes sense, in my mind. I try and use my vision in my mind. One, I experience it. Does that sort of make sense?
Yeah.
Or maybe it doesn't. And sometimes it's hard to explain, but I know what I mean anyway. So,
Right. Steve's got another question for you.
I've got a variation on the question that Ghost Rider's put in there. When you saw the monk and it went round you, do you think that for that split second you was in his time or he was in yours?
Now I'm glad someone asked me that question, because that's a view and opinion that I've had for years. Did I? Who said that? Ghost Rider?
Yep.
Thank you, Ghost Rider. You're a wonderful person. That is a view and opinion that I have had for many years. Did I step into their moment of time? That is something that has bothered me. When we see ghosts, are the ghosts actually there, or are we going into their realm? This is something. Are we ghosts of our former selves? Oh God, we're all going to get started now. We're all going to be here head mashing now. That's all we need. It's a bit of both, I think. I think a bit of both. I think when I experienced that, and I was and this is very important to understand, I was in a heightened state. My fear. I believe it's all to do with energy. Our bodies project. We can test everything. Our bodies give out energy, doesn't it? And you put two positives together. You put two magnets. What will happen? You put two magnets together. They will automatically repel. Yeah. So if a spirit is not in a heightened state. It's just doing its thing. So if I was a positive and it was coming through as a negative, then quite possibly the positivity, I became like a battery sort of. The positive negative effect community in a battery sort of scenario, and I possibly may have stepped into their world for that 1 second where they stepped around me, or not. I don't know. But thank you for bringing it up. It's a great and interesting question.
Martin wants to know: do you think that we are ghosts to them when they see us?
That's
what do you think?
That's another interesting question. Well, it is possible. You see, due to time continuing and stuff, you want to get into that, but that's what I want to get into. But it is possible that they possibly, because to be honest, none of you get hurt by ghosts, do there? You've heard of stories of poltergeist and that sort of stuff, yes, but nobody ever gets hurt badly by ghosts, do they? So we know they're not out to hurt us, yeah? Mm-hmm. So if that being the case, then are we ghosts to them? Yes, we could be ghosts to them, I suppose, in one sense. I don't have to think about that now in more in-depth detail. Are we ghosts to them?
Good question, isn't it?
I'm going to bring that up at my next talk next week.
Right. He also wants to know, don't take this as an offensive question, do you ghost bait for any reaction if you get a bit bored with how things are going through the night?
As I was saying, at Chingle Hall, yes, when I got poked by a ghost, and let's keep it that way, but just with a finger, okay, poked by a ghost in the back, I was being somewhat disparaging. I really was being, but in a jestful way. I wasn't being disrespectful disparaging. I was jesting disparaging about whether he really is here, why did he come out with a sword and harpoon me and all that sort of stuff. And since that day, I do not, and nor will I tolerate anyone on any ghost tour or investigation to ghost bait. I will not have it under any circumstances. No way, Jose.
No, it's not the good thing to do. I always say, you wouldn't want it in life. You know what I mean?
Of course you don't want it in life.
No.
Why would you, if you don't want it in this world, why do you want it in the next?
Yeah, this is
I totally agree with you there.
Yeah. That you see things on YouTube. There was one group that I saw years ago. They put it on YouTube where they're doing the glass divination and they're saying, "Are you gay? Don't you like women?" and all this that and the other.
Now, how rude is that?
Yeah,
that is being totally you see, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You see, what happens is, see these people that do this, and this is just, and I'm not pointing. This is my opinion. What happens is, I have noticed, like I have done, like I said, thousands of people on ghost tours, and I've done 150, 200 paranormal investigations. And I've noticed that people who used to come on regular ghost tours have then started their own little organisation. And fair play to them. If that's what they want to do, then let them do it. All good to them. I wish them well.
Yeah.
However, they've only been doing it for 3 or 4 months. They've literally absolutely no concept. They've only been on a ghost tour once or twice. And they start their own organisations. And and they have no idea what they're doing, and so they see programs. Now, you watch some of the American programs, as an example, and it has happened on British television as well, as I'm sure you know.
Yeah.
On Most Haunted, they've done the same sort of thing, and called ghost baiting, and they have no idea what they're doing. Now, I'm not saying that ghost baiting, I know personally for me, it's a big no-no. I'm not saying ghost baiting will encourage or will not encourage a ghost or spirit. I don't know whether it will or not. I just don't think that it's a right thing to do, and people who do it should be ashamed of themselves and should get a better knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of the concept of the paranormal, and stop just playing with it.
Yeah. Martin goes on to say he was just asking because they don't do it at ClubZero, and he just wanted your views on it. That was all.
Yeah, and we don't either.
And we don't do it at UK Shadow
Seekers.
But no, I'm glad. I have no time for people that do stupid and silly things like that. You know, it's not. You know, it's like when you call upon the dead, and people are guilty of this all the time. They'll go on an investigation and say, "Is there anybody there? Can you give us a sign?" And they'll ask. So then when you get the sign, so let's just say as an example, can you rap one? So you have the rap.
Yeah.
Then they'll say, if that was you, so now you already know it's them.
Yeah.
You've confirmed. They go, if that was you, can you do it again? They do it again. You go, oh, thank you for that. And can you answer this question? Can you do it again?
Yeah.
You know, and they keep, it drives me insane. You already have your evidence that you wanted. They're not chimpanzees.
Well, no.
Treat with a bit of respect. If you've got questions, ask sensible, respectful questions.
Yeah.
And these energies, and energy, spirits, ghosts, whatever you want, these will react with you and will work with you if they can. And you can work with them and to help teach them if they don't understand. Because some spirits come through, have very little or no knowledge whatsoever. And some have a vast acumen. So you got different just in this world, you've got some thick people, like Christopher there, and then you've got other people, like this. No, I'm just going to say Christopher. Yeah. You got people of little intelligence. You got people who are super intelligent. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's like your last show when you had that lady on, which was a wonderful show again last week about abductions, alien abductions.
Oh yeah.
And that was a wonderful show. And I thought what a great show it was. And the reason I mentioned that is because they said about why aliens, and it was on your show this evening. You know, why does aliens take sheep and why do they take? Come on. Aliens, they've got hover, they can fly an aircraft, for goodness sake. They don't use fuel. Why do you want to look at a little woolly back? What's you know? Come on! What's all that about?
I don't know. Well, just to let you know, Bungrove from Nice says that he's worked with you for many years and still do, and he said you have never ever done anything like that and never will. Okay? So that's confirmed that.
Yes, and I have...
Who was that, sorry?
That was your friend Gary.
Oh, my friend Gary. He's a good boy, Gary.
Yeah. I have a little something here from Ghost Rider would like your opinion of it.
Yeah.
He's heard of a story, I'm assuming recently, where a lady was haunting a house and was seen on the stairs. And later on, when homeowner put it up for sale...
Several years
later... the same woman that had been haunting it came to view the house and saying that she'd been dreaming about the house. So was she projecting herself in her dreams into the house? No,
that's an interesting subject because hypnosis, and I'm sorry, I'll answer the question.
Yeah.
I'll give you an example to this ghost. Thanks for the question. I clicked with the therapist, and I had a lady who was very susceptible to hypnosis. So what I done was I took her to a thing called the Ellsdale state. That's total catatonic. You can put the body in a position to remain there, totally comfortable. Anyway, I placed her in a chair and I had a deck of cards. Now this is the God's honest truth. I said, well, I want you to imagine now that you're able to step away from that chair and come behind me and look at these cards. Now, this is honestly this is the truth. What happened was she's sitting in front of me. She's in the Ellsdale state. She can barely speak. I mean, in the Ellsdale state, speaking is very, very difficult. And what happened was, I held a deck of cards up and said, what is this card? And she said, as an example, the 3 of Spades. And lo and behold, it was the 3 of Spades. I held another one up, say the 6 of Diamonds. It was the 6 of Diamonds. I held a third card up, at which point she had difficulty of telling what the third card was, because she couldn't maintain that that level of concentration. Now that is a very similar thing to what Ghost is saying. That this lady has what you perceive as an out of body experience, but she's not actually asleep. She's in a subconscious state.
Yeah.
Now that's very similar to what Ghost is saying when he's saying that this lady appears on the staircase. Thought projection. I wouldn't dismiss it. I certainly would not dismiss it if she believed that home was for her. And remember, it's all about belief.
Yeah.
You know, the placebo effect. If you believe that a bottle of whatever will protect you, or a cross in cases of religion, a cross will protect you, it will. If you genuinely believe it, it will. You know, so in this instance, where a woman appears in the staircase and then goes back to a house a number of years later to buy it or whatever it may be, I think it could be possible, yes. As to how, I'm not 100% sure, but I'll give you an example of what this lady that I hypnotized and what she was able to do. And she was sitting in front of me. They weren't trick cards, they were normal playing cards. So how that happened, that tells me that in some form we can step at some level, or conscious or subconsciousness, we can leave our physical, our conscious body and move around. We've heard people in astral projection. You know, so is that a form of astral projection? I don't really know, or I suppose it could be, but it was there and then, and she wasn't asleep. See, hypnosis is not sleep. What people misunderstand when they say, I'm asleep. You're not asleep, I can assure you. You're very much awake, and you understand what's going on. Wow. Sorry, I got off the train of thought again, didn't I? I just ramble on.
Don't worry about it.
Well,
apart from Craig Y Nos, there's another place that you do. Harbour House in Port Talbot. That
is correct. Harbour House. Now, Harbour House is owned by the Royal Navy. They own their Sea Cadet Corps. I was very privileged to be asked. I got a call one day and was asked, could I possibly come down and have a look? Because some of the young cadets were experiencing something. They had a little eerie thing. I said, yeah, okay, yeah. Because they all do that, don't they? And I said, yeah, sure, no problem whatsoever. I went down, and I got to be honest with you, they don't use this building at all. This building, if those have been to Markham, I'm sure ClubZero have been to Markham Castle.
Yeah, we have.
Okay, so you've been to Markham Castle, you know what I'm talking about. Well, the people who built Markham Castle also built Harbour House.
Right, okay.
Okay, that's all by the Morgan family, in case you're ever interested. They built the Morgans. He also built Craig Y Nos Castle. There's something to know. Anyway, so I went down to this venue. This old house is not really used. They had a grant for the roof put on, but the interior was somewhat derelict. And I went in and a couple of nights of investigating, and I have an absolute cracking photograph of a gentleman. He's got one of them big sideburns and from the late 1800s, early 1900s. And I got the photograph anyway, and we tried to do a bit of history. Unfortunately, the Royal Navy are not so forthcoming when they own a property of what was there before, what they used it for. The only information we give is that it was used for send out cargo from 1945 until 1980 something, and then the Sea Cadets took it over. They were giving no prior knowledge to that, so we have nothing. But I did some research, and we spoke to the old harbour master who just retired, and he knew the harbour master's family before that, and we believe that we may have captured a photograph of the harbour master from 1862. So, which was a wonderful thing. So the cadets at that time, they were, as I said, they were trying to renovate, and I try and help everybody. You know, the concept of the panel is like sharing, and not just sharing ghosts, but if we have an opportunity to do a charity event for you, then I'll do one for you. If I can do it for you, I'll do it for you. Just tell you what we'll do. Why don't we arrange a little ghost hunt? Excuse me. Why don't we arrange a little ghost hunt, and we'll charge people 15 quid each. We'll bring them in for a few hours, do a couple of seances and stuff, and it'll help raise money. Well, that's how it actually started. It was like, oh, that'd be great, that, Steve, thanks. I advertised it just around the local. I said, give the cadets little bits of paper. I said, give them to your parents. And the little cadets were like, we're not going in there, no chance. But obviously I explained to them, and I had a wonderful time, and it's a cracking venue. Unfortunately, I can no longer do it. The Royal Navy, bless their little cotton socks, they've kiboshed the whole idea of it. It was not for the scene of the Royal Navy to be seen looking for ghosts. So, unfortunately, I can no longer do Harbour House.
Right.
So thank you for bringing that painful and sore subject up.
Are there any live ghost cams on your website or on Craig Y Nos?
Yeah, like there are. If you go to theparanormalworld.com or Most Haunted Castle or Craig Y Nos Castle and click on the web link, unfortunately the cameras are there and they are working, but they're working off an IP address. That was because what happened, the castle only recently has got broadband. Believe it or believe it not. Only last year got running water. Anyway, they only recently got broadband. What happened was this new provider has changed all the IPs, so all the stuff that's operating from upstairs was working from a website.
Yeah.
But yes, there are live cameras, and I can assure you, they all will be back online very shortly. When Mr. Ludwig comes back from his holidays, Mr. Ludwig will take care of that.
I see you've got links there for other places like.
Oh yes, of course.
Wastelands.
Yes, I try and promote. I don't know if this link's all still working, but I try. If somebody's got a camera, a webcam, please feel free. Send me the link. I'll put it on my website. I don't have this exclusivity thing. I am happy to share with whoever wants to listen. You know, if you've got something to say to the paranormal, talk about it. Let's get it out on the table. Let's thrash it out. Let's see what we can get going. Yeah. You know, that sort of makes sense. So if you've got something on a webcam, give me the details. I put it on my website. Let other people see your webcam. Share the joy.
Yeah, so I'm just checking my my chat room, see if there's any other questions there at the moment. It doesn't look like it, unless Steve can check. But I've noticed on your website it says Alpha Omega Events.
Yes. Okay. Let me explain about Alpha Omega Events. Okay. Alpha Omega Event, because of the concept of the paranormal, as I said, I've given talks in America and Canada. And I built a decent reputation around the name of the Paranormal World. So what I didn't want to do was for the fun Fright Nights, I didn't want to destroy that concept by using the name the Paranormal World. Although it's me.
Yeah.
But I started an organization called my brother. Actually, my brother. Michael. He has an organization where he does bars and stuff. And I asked him at a venue once. I said, listen, at this venue, it was a mental asylum in the middle of mid-Wales. I said, I can't get teas and coffees to these poor people. He says, worry not. I've got a catering van. So he brings the catering van down. So I thought, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll use the name Alpha Mega Events, because it's a quite good name, for the Fright Nights. So I was keeping the true concept of ghost tours and paranormal investigations with the Paranormal World, but the fun Fright Nights and the hen Fright Nights were with Alpha Mega Events. But then people, they all knew it was me anyway, so it was like, what was the point? You know, if that makes sense. You know, it was just, I thought it was a good thing to do at the time.
Yeah. And
I've just left it up since then. I really haven't bothered to take it down. I've nothing to hide. It's no big deal, really.
So I'd like to know who the Nightmare Before Christmas is. Who's Father Christmas?
Well, who do you think? Like I told you, I'm not a medium, I'm an extra large, you know. So the Nightmare Before that, again, they're good things, you know. It's something different, you know. Instead of everyone like Halloween, oh, let's go do seances, and no, let's enjoy what Halloween's all about. It's a festive time. It's a religious time, you know. It's paganism at its finest. Let's get in there. Let's enjoy it. So I did the same thing for Christmas. You know, we have our normal Christian Christmases. So I thought, why not have a horror Christmas? The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Why not?
Lo and behold. So that's how that concept came about.
Ah, I see.
It's all good stuff, really. So you can see, I like both sides, but I enjoy the fun aspect. But I love the ghost story, and I love the paranormal investigations. I love exactly what I do. I have one of a guy, like I said, Gary there, who's come on. Gary is like my right arm there. He does everything for me. My wonderful partner, Victoria, she does everything for the Fright Nights, and Kay, she's a spiritualist medium. And I have a lot of good people around me who help me out on a continual basis. So I'm very, like I said, I'm very privileged, and I'm very thankful for the people I have around me. I'm thankful and grateful to be at Craig Y Nos Castle, if I'm honest with you.
Steve?
Yes, at the castle, do you do pagan weddings? Because if not, why not? Because a pagan wedding only actually lasts for a year and a day. then it has to be renewed.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, this is interesting because we did that. BBC did a program about pagan weddings, and they had one at the castle where he had all the chainmail on, and she had this big, lovely, gothic-y dress on.
Yeah.
And it was all fish and all that sort of stuff with her meal. So I didn't know that, but yes, I've never. I used to be a registrar. You may not be aware. I used to do the weddings. I used to do a lot of things at the castle one time. I was the head chef for a number of years, and I was also the registrar. I did the ghost. Yes, I did. I did the ghost tours, the weddings, cooked. I did it all. I might as well have bought the place myself, but I could afford it.
God, you're on a good wage then.
Yeah.
I wish I was.
Yes, we only know about it because a friend of ours has just renewed theirs.
Yeah, they did it yesterday.
Well, I didn't know that, and I genuinely did not know that. I thought, like, once you get married, that was it.
Because she said that she was renewing her vows, and and I said, renewing your vows? She went, yeah. She said, we have a pagan wedding, and it only lasts a year and a day, so we're going to go and get another hand fastening. And I thought, all right.
Oh, no.
No,
That's going to cost money, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, no. Yeah, that's what it's all about, you see. It's all about making money now, isn't it?
So,
Hey, not for time and eternity. When you marry a woman, all she wants is money. That's my opinion.
Yeah, a year and a day later, he wants some more.
Exactly.
Well, Gary's just put on here, it's a privilege to work with Steve. You learn so much and still do.
Oh, tell Gary to stop kissing my butt. Thank you, Gary. That's very kind of you,
I'm
friend.
sure he's just heard you. Well, it's been great having you on the show, Steve. You know,
Thank you very much for having me. I'm sorry if I rambled on a bit.
No, you've been very entertaining, my darling.
Well, I try my best. I will send my bill to you, obviously.
And as I say, we've
that's all right. Please do. We'll send it back to you.
we've loved hearing about Craig Y Nos. As I say, I'd love to see.
And please come down. Please consider that as an open invitation for the guys in the hub to come down and come down and stay the night and do a live broadcast from the castle. Connect up our cameras, have your little webcam going, have our cameras going. We can walk around the whole castle chatting.
Yes.
How could it'd be like the most haunted, but KTPF style?
Yeah, it would be great. So maybe we could come down and discuss it, and then organise it, and then come back down again to do the show.
Yeah, no problem at all. Just let me know when. Not a problem.
Well, thanks again, Steve. It's been brilliant.
Thanks for having me, and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you, Andrew.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Well, that was Steve Graham, and don't forget, if you do want to go to Craig Y Nos, just go to his website at theparanormalworld.com, or you can go to Craig Y Nos, which is the CraigYNos.com, or themosthauntedcastle.com. You can find out all about it there. So that was a good interview tonight. I must admit, you've been going on about Craig Y Nos for quite some time, haven't you? Yeah, because you was on about me booking it and this, that, and the other.
It's all right. I mean, we've been there once in the past with Stevie a few years back. It was all right. I didn't experience anything paranormal.
No. But to
maybe
experience,
did, but it was good.
To do like we say, we can't guarantee it, and
no,
this, that, and the other. But it's a good night at the end of the day.
It's a nice place. It's historic, historical values. It's a hard place to get to. It's a hard place to find.
Yeah.
It's in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
No signals on your phone, so you don't get them. But it's it's a nice place. You'd like it. It is a good place to go to.
So
it's different.
So have you been, Emma? She says, picking up her.
So I'm back. Have I been to
Craig Y Nos?
I haven't. No, I'd love to go.
Yeah,
I've heard a lot about it, but no, I've never been.
So if we do get that invite to go down and do a show down there, are you two willing to come with us?
We might have a few problems actually walking around with the mics and stuff.
Yeah, well, we'll have to see.
But we can see what we can do.
They've just got broadband now, so you're
right. So we'll have to see what happens.
Otherwise, it's using your mobile internet Wi-Fi, isn't it?
Zello.
Without a signal.
Yeah, I don't know.
This is one we made earlier.
It's just put, I got radio mics. Oh dear. So, but Andy Cooper said. Andy Cooper said the theatre was our dorm room for the night, Chris.
Yeah, I had I had a room of my own to have, and I gave it up for another team member and his missus at the time. So we stayed in the great big like the auditorium or whatever. I think the floor moves. I'm sure it does, and we all had camp beds and things put up there. You know, it was good. You know, amongst the smell of people's feet and people letting wind. You know, mostly me. But it was, it was good. You know, it was enjoyable. And then obviously the day after, I think we got into trouble with the coach driver. Freddie was called at the time because we didn't get him back till really, really late because we didn't just do the investigation. We also went through a series of classes the next day, like past life regression. Yeah. No smoking. And all that type of thing. So we didn't leave till late. No. So you got a really good deal. You got a long time. And then when we got back, it was like 10 o'clock at night. Yeah,
PJ said it's a 12-hour trip back.
It was a hell of a long time. It was a hell of a long time.
I don't know how come.
I don't know about 12 hours. I thought about 5 hours.
I was going to say, it takes us 5 hours to get to Cornwall.
I wouldn't have thought 12. I mean, unless you're going by skateboard, PJ. But it was a long time, and plus, I think if I'm correct, if I remember, we ended up going through a toll. On our way down there, on a coach. I'm sure we did. But I remember Fred, the driver.
Well, there is this toll on. I think it's Cardiff Bridge.
I don't know.
That's got a toll. Because we normally miss it somewhere.
I'm sure we all have to put our hands in our pockets and pay a toll, to go through there. And whatnot. But we never seen the coach driver again after that. I think that was probably the last time we actually had a coach for an investigation. Yeah. I think Fred's missus must have kicked him out because he didn't get home that day because he was going mad, but it was a good experience. It was all right. It was good.
That's okay then.
It's a nice place, It's you look at it outside and you see it in its majesty and things like that. You think, ooh, that's quite nice.
That's what I like about Margam Castle when you go up that hill and then the trees stop and then you see it. Yeah. The downside of it is you think you've got the whole lot and you haven't, have you?
No,
you've one side.
You've only got that little bit on the right hand side as you look at it.
Margam Castle, you get there and you expect Vincent Price to be stood at the door. That's really gothic horror story, that wasn't it? You're like, welcome, more fools, that type of thing. Because I looked at that, like you just said then, and I thought, wow, good God, look at all this, but you can't go up in there, and you can't go there, and you can't go here. And you thought, oh, right, okay. But it was interesting where you can go.
Yeah.
There's a few things happened in there. I remember.
First time we went there, a couple of our team got a fright of their life. At the time, they had some reenactment people out the front.
Yes.
And they opened the door to go out to have a cigarette and got confronted by 2 American army officers.
And
it was quite a misty night, wasn't it?
It was a very misty night, and all they saw was these two Americans dressed up with the old combat hat and everything else.
Can you imagine what went through their minds?
Yes,
and through the stomach line.
They nearly bricked it.
Oh, and Shingle Hall, like Stephen was saying before, that's a good place as well. Because when Stephen was there, yes, I was there. I've been. There was a time, you might remember actually, there was a time when we was in that great hall and David V was there.
Yeah.
And I heard there was. I think the main thing I experienced there was I thought someone left the TV on in this other room that across the other side there, and I went in there because the television was on. Oh, that's what it sounded like. All the talking. There wasn't one when I went in the room. There was nothing. There was no TV there.
No.
And then we had an experience in one of the rooms where with these monks. Where we wasn't allowed to come out of this room. Yeah. We did this seance in there and we ended up having to do it backwards in order to get out of this room. Yeah. Because these monks was waiting outside the door for us and things like that. There was all sorts of things went on. And it was very good days, good. It was very good.
It's not doing it backwards. Go outside the door and meet the monks.
Well, yeah. So you tried to do a seance backwards, I was like, oh, crikey. Trying to undo what you. So, but it was fun, and we came out, and different things and.
Well, when we went to Margam Castle the second time, it was like a scene out of Most Haunted, wasn't it? Really, the medium that we had with us at the time, he got a bit spooked. He was being.
It's cold there. Did you find it cold?
Yeah, he was. He had COPD. So with his smoking, he was having trouble with his throat, coughing up stuff in before we started. And then when it came to the investigation, by 2 o'clock, I thought I'd get everybody to walk down the stairs to see whether they'd feel anything. Yeah. And he was going, nope, turn the light on. I went, what? I said, if you want the light on, go in the hub. And he said, no, turn the light on, right? You'll be protected if you've got the light on. I went, no, go in the hub if you want the light on. He went to walk into the hub. I went to walk away. He went to turn the light on. I went, no, leave it alone. Yeah. So I managed to, I'm pushing him.
We were at the top of the stairs watching these two push backwards and forwards to stop each other turn the lights on.
And I felt like Yvette Fielding. But I tell you what, it was, it wasn't staged or anything, but I was annoyed. I felt like I wanted the floor to open up and swallow me.
You do get events like that.
And I'll be honest with you,
last one we was
they
on,
loved
I
it.
The people at the top of the stairs, I guess they loved it.
They thought if the medium's getting spooked, there must be something wrong. So I ended up, we were all gone by 2:30. We was there until 4.
Was you?
Yeah.
Just you know what I mean? Anything can happen.
I was so annoyed.
When we was there, there was one of the things that happened to us was when some of the team was, there was these upstairs rooms, and you have to go through like a maze of flipping rooms to get everyone. It's pitch black.
Yeah.
And I remember these people, some of the team being in various rooms, and they were sitting around tables getting ready to do the call out seances or whatever they was going to do. And there was me and a colleague who's not with us now. Probably never will be again. But there was me and a colleague that was we was transferring equipment from downstairs up to these people on the in the other rooms, i.e. trigger objects, and things like that.
Yeah.
And we got there, and when we were taking some to the other rooms, we heard this the sound of dogs growling. Like, so we stopped, looked at each other. We just put the bags down, the cases down in this dark room, and we looked at each other. We couldn't see each other because it was pitch black, but we ran. And we ran, and I mean, these dogs was at the back of us, or they sound like it in your ear, and we ran, and when we all the way down the stairs, and when we got to the bottom, other people were sat there waiting for us to come up, and we just walked casually through the door, and like, and other people said, well, we just heard all your footsteps running like hell on, the top of the stairs, so that was a bit embarrassing. But I spoke to the guide, I think it was called Tim, or something. He was a security guide there. And I told him about the sound of these dogs, and he said that room where you was where they used to keep the big wolfhounds or something in that room. So, but it was just weird. When you're in a dark room, you can't see, you hear then your lug oil, whoa, off you go.
When it was up there, Sue actually had somebody walk past you, didn't you?
It's a weird place. Up there.
Yeah. But you got to think about the bats as well, though.
Yeah, the bats.
They're flying around.
Our Simon, the little bugger, on his phone, he's got this bat thing. And
bat
he plays
sonar
it,
thing.
And it actually attracts the bats. He did that, and this bat actually came around and flew around his head because he had the bat sonar thing on his phone going.
That's why it's good to use bat detectors and things, isn't it, in places like that. But the stone throwing, did you get that?
Yes, we had a couple of them.
Stone throwing.
So,
sitting on the stairs because you've got the great big grand stairway, haven't you?
Yeah.
It goes up like that, something like that's on the Titanic, that stairway, but big. Sitting up there. And,
lovely stairs, though, isn't it?
It is, yeah. And I remember everyone was sat down at the bottom filming, and I'm right at the top sitting there. And it's all right when you're looking up at them sitting there, but when you sat there and it's all open on them sides, and you think, whoa, it's a bit. You'll have to. If any of you guys in the chat room haven't been to Margam Castle, if you get an opportunity, go. It's a good place.
Well, on our website at shadowseekers.co.uk, we've actually got we should have somewhere along there. We have got that thing that happened, didn't it, Steve?
Yeah, we actually caught something on the stairs while the lights were on before we'd even started. We just set up. We started the recording just to make sure the cameras were all in the right place. And it's what looks like a cobweb comes down the stairs, swoops onto the camera, and then back up. And we all went, whoa, what's that? And I went up and checked it all just to make sure it wasn't a cobweb. And there was nothing, absolutely nothing. I picked something off the floor and went, was this it? No, it looks nothing like it. Which I knew that anyway when I picked it up. But,
what do you think it was?
I just don't know. I mean, it's one of them things where you can look into it and go, yeah, that was something coming down the stairs.
These things only last for a split second.
Yeah,
well,
it does. And it was in the exact area that when our cat was setting that camera up, she actually heard someone talking to her on the stairs in that same place. So that's the only thing that gives it a connection that where you could say, maybe it was a spirit, but looking at it, you just don't know. It looks like the spider web. It was that like one shiny line. You can see it come down and then comes up in front of the camera.
If anyone wants to see it, that's the link.
And then goes.
Tell me what you think.
I call them like wisps when you see that.
Yeah.
But the first thing in the haunted
is that the link there?
Yeah, that's the link there. It's on camera 2 on the top. It's on there. Just so you can see what we're talking about.
Craig Y Nos, look at that. I remember it well.
That's not Craig Y Nos.
Not
Margam.
There you go. Look.
Margam Castle. I mean.
There you go. Look.
Oh yeah.
Can you see that?
I mean, it looks, for all intents and purposes, like a cobweb.
Yeah, it does look like a cobweb or a piece of dust that might be caught on the. Maybe it was a piece of material or a hair that was caught on the camera.
But when he went to check,
camera was clear. Checked it.
Yeah, and the lights were still on then.
Yeah, the lights were still on.
So, you know.
So is it still there when it shows you guys coming round to check the camera? Is it still on there?
No.
No, because it goes by then.
There you go.
He goes up the stairs. You found a bit of tape on the floor, didn't you, Steve?
Yeah, I found that on the floor. There was nothing else there. There was no cobwebs around the camera at all.
And ignore me when I said Craig Y Nos. That's earlier.
It's because we were talking about it.
But that's the grand staircase you were talking about.
That's right, yeah.
Brilliant, doesn't it?
So, because as I say, the cameras hadn't long been up. Yeah?
No.
Had they, Steve?
No.
We hadn't even turned the lights off.
No,
we just managed to click it on to start recording and make sure that they were in the position they should have been in.
It's floating very, very shallowy.
But did you see that though?
Did
you see that then? I went across there, and what was there is just suddenly dropped.
Yeah.
Straight down.
Something just dropped like a stone. Victoria from the Paranormal World, she thinks it's a cobweb. So
it does move in the way a cobweb would move, with a slight airflow, because of cobweb being so light.
Yeah.
You know, the way it sort of swifts about like that does look like a cobweb motion.
It does, doesn't it?
It does. I mean,
but it's just as I say,
the
cameras haven't been up long. Yeah, and it just seems to appear. You know what I mean?
But
I mean, when you had the cameras, when you had them packed away before you unpacked them, I mean, could they have, caught onto your material, like, your top or something like that, where you might have had a tiny bit, which you can't really see, and obviously that's really close to the camera, so it might be a piece of material, fibre.
When we put the cameras up, we make sure that there's nothing in front of them. You know what I mean? So
it looks like, obviously I can't say that, but it looks like, people say it looks like a cobweb.
It does look like it comes up, which is further away from the camera then.
Yeah, it seems to
comes closer.
Yeah. So
it's like there's a breeze. I mean, maybe there was something on the actual where you put the camera itself. Maybe there was a cobweb or a piece of fibre or something on the actual.
The only thing I would say that would distract from being a cobweb is that we'd been up and down that staircase several times that night before we set the camera. I mean, Kat was up there. I mean, initially she was at the top, and she was going to set it up the top.
The thing is, looking at it as well, is it's got structure to it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's got substance.
Yeah.
So and you can tell that it's got the substance because of the way the lights. It's really close to the camera because the infrared light's bouncing back, illuminating it anyway. But then you got parts of it which aren't as illuminated. That tells you you got the structure from it.
Yeah.
I mean, I will say, to be honest, the first thing we thought was that it was a cobweb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We couldn't find any trace of one.
No. You wiped the camera, didn't you?
We checked the camera. There's nothing on the lens. We checked both sides of the camera. There was absolutely nothing.
You found a tape on the floor and tried to name it, didn't you? So, but
it's still nice to look at. Isn't it? I mean,
it does. So
just one of them things you never know.
It's one of them things that because of what happened before and Kat actually hearing the voice in that area, it would lead you to suspect that maybe it's a spirit, but we've got no proof whatsoever that it is or isn't.
No,
we do know that it wasn't a cobweb because it was checked.
Yeah,
but apart from that, I can't can't tell you what it
You
was.
get random things that happen where people think that there's spirit and things like that, but obviously it's a better conception when you get other things, other factors that contribute, i.e., like you just said, you see something on a camera, but then there was a voice at some stage somebody had heard it earlier, or someone's heard this, an artifact's moved, or doors closed. Different corresponding things lead to that.
Because Kat heard it while she was setting that camera up.
Yeah.
That's what she was there to do at the time.
So,
because she actually shouted down to me and Dave, did we call her?
Yeah.
I think your little dog Roxy wants to do an interview.
It wouldn't surprise me. She always wants to do
an interview, Roxy.
Well, what we're going to do is we're going to have a break and do the paranormal events, and we'll come back to you in a moment. Okay?
The Paranormal Intelligence Gathering Services Ghost Store is a one-stop shop for all of your ghost hunting gadgetry needs. Run by ghost hunters for ghost hunters, the shop is filled with all of the latest in investigation equipment, shipped in from all around the world, from high-quality digital dictaphones to EMF pumps, infrared illuminators to laser grid pens, CCTV equipment to data loggers. All of our equipment has already been imported, so you can buy it safe in the knowledge that there will be no hidden costs. And with our postage promise, you'll never pay more than the actual postage price. So visit www.the-pigs.co.uk/ghost store.
We've got all the news right here. Don't go away.
Fed up of wading through the activities and events that other advertisers include? Find just what you're looking for at paranormaleventsforyou.com, your one-stop paranormal directory. Yeah, and welcome back. And first up, we have on the 28th of June to the 5th of July at the Arthur Findlay College in Stansted, in Essex. You have a demonstrating medium. Tony Stockwell is there, as well as tutors Helen DeVita and Jose Goschalk. And you can find out more about that at the AFC Direct. I will put the link on the actual what's the name, because it's quite a long link, to be honest with you. I'll find that in a moment. And also we have on the 28th of June we have the old police cells in Brighton, finally decommissioned in the 1960s. The old police cells of Brighton were used as a council storage facility. Now the location is open as the Brighton Police Museum and is home to several artefacts relating to the police force and the cells. For one night, you can have your chance to try and experience these paranormal activity for yourself. For more information, visit www.the-pigs.co.uk. On the 28th of June, D-Day tunnels at Fort Southwick in Portsmouth. You can join Compass Paranormal and the team, plus medium Kevin Bowen on this paranormal investigation in the underground headquarters that was built in 1942 as a naval command centre. This is one of Compass Paranormal's favourite locations, and to book, just go to www.compassparanormal.co.uk. And don't forget, we have them 3 UK top mediums out there going across the UK with their 2014 tour. There's the Enlightenment Tour with Derek Acora. Check out where he's attending at derekacora.com. Then there's Tony Stockwell. Find out where he's appearing at tonystockwell.com and click events. And Colin Fry's Voices from Heaven Tour 2014. You can find out more about that at colinfry.co.uk. And just to go back on that last one, and I'll give you the link to where it all is, if they put the link, that's the question. Here we go. It's at the www.arthurfindlaycollege.org. You can find out more about there, and just click on all courses. That's where you can find out more about that. So check out the one-stop paranormal directory for more investigations and events, available now. Paranormaleventsforyou.com also offers banner advertising for only £10 per year. See our website for more details. ParanormalEventsForYou.com, your one-stop paranormal directory. Yeah, so that's all the events coming up this week and till the end of June. July is nearly upon us, so we'll be letting you know what's going on next week for July. But talking about the 28th of June, as we mentioned at the top of the show, we've got ClubZero Paranormal going to the Leopard Inn. That was it. Yeah. And just before I mention more about the Leopard Inn, just to let you know that there's a meeting on Thursday at the Lady Bridge Social Club in Stockport. Am I right? Hold on. Hang on. Try again.
Where have I gone? I'm here. I'm here. Yeah, Lady Bridge, just off Meadway Road, Cheadle, Stockport. SK85NZ.
Okay.
Well, what we got planned for the meeting?
It's it's going to be SK85NZ. It's going to be a good night, I think. I mean, obviously we do think we've got investigations that we're going to be putting out. We're going to be doing psychic workshops on some levels. We're going to be trying doing that.
Okay.
We have tarot card reading.
Yes.
And we've got a quiz that's been we do a DVD quiz every month anyway, which is on, you can see it on the big screen. So we're going to be doing that again. That's just been created. Analysing footage, and we're going to be looking at various pictures that we've got. So we're going to be analysing them, showing videos from different areas and trying to decipher whether these are actually real or fabricated. We might be special people around with us on the night, so it might be worthwhile people coming down. It's good. It's good fun. You can come on investigations. We give away door prizes and things like that. We give away prizes for quizzes, so you never know who you might bump into when you come to one of our meetings. And not just me and the team. Many people come down.
Can you give our listeners an idea of the sort of guests that you've had?
Yeah, we've had guest speakers in the past that have turned up. Kath Al from who used to be with Most Haunted came along, and she was a guest speaker for us at some stage in the past. Steve Mera. We've had Paul Rowlands. He's on your chat room there.
Ace there.
Ace Paradox, with his equipment. Fantastic guy and fantastic equipment.
He's got some brilliant equipment, hasn't he?
Dr. Ray Jenkinson, hypnotherapist. Excuse me, past life regression.
And I know you've had several different mediums doing their thing.
Clairvoyant demonstration, and things like that. But we have had television celebrities as well. There is a few people that I have contacted and emailed, maybe for the future. You've already mentioned one tonight on your paranormal events for you.
Right, okay.
So you never know one day. And people do sometimes, because obviously we've been around for years. We have a few contacts. We know a few people, and people know us as well. And sometimes people just tend to show up. So you never know.
Well, this is it.
You've got to go to find out. But one thing you can be guaranteed: Thursday night at the ClubZero Paranormal meeting it's going to be a good night.
It's the last Thursday of every month.
Last Thursday every month. Yeah.
And not only that, you also invite other groups as well.
Yeah.
Keeping the paranormal friendly.
Yeah, people. Other groups come along.
Come down and let the guys there know how you do things.
The only one thing that we ask when people do come down, if we do, we don't have them all the time.
No.
But if we do have guest speakers, that other people in the back of the rooms pay a bit more respect and keep the volume down, because when the people are speaking, it's a bit disrespectful. And then information's that we're there to give on one-to-one assistance. So people might come down and say, look, I've got something going on in my house, or we're there to talk to them as well. I just want to go on an investigation. There's no obligation to join or anything. Somebody might want to go on an investigation and think, it's not for me.
Yeah.
I'm not coming back again. But with that help, we're friendly. The pub's good. The beer's all right. You do have to buy us all a drink when you come in. That's an initiation. We might get free membership for that. Depends how drunk we get. But it's good fun. You just come down and have a laugh. Let your hair down on a Thursday. And what else can you be doing? You could be sat at home watching EastEnders.
Oh, I record it, so I'm all right.
Oh, there you go. Best of both worlds. So don't forget ClubZero Paranormal Thursday. This Thursday. coming up.
Steve said he'll have to come down as a special guest for you one day.
Yeah, of course he can. I'll pay him in special salt and pepper numbers. If he wants to come down as a special, as a guest, yeah, he's welcome to. Yeah, cool.
Now, Saturday, we're off to Burslem.
We're going to Burslem. We're away on Friday. We're going to Stoke on Friday because we've got to do a special environmental sweeping.
Yeah.
I feel like a street cleaner when I say that. Oh, I'm a chimney sweep. And then we're off to the Leopards Inn in Burslem, so that'll be interesting.
Now, for those of you who don't know, it was sometimes known as the Savoy of the Midlands. The Leopard Inn in Burslem certainly holds a lot of hidden secrets, and local historian Fred Hughes uncovered the past that makes the 18th century public house so intriguing. I also remember reading that a certain Take That person, or ex-Take That person, who comes from Stoke-on-Trent, visited the pub itself. Okay,
he's into the old paranormal, isn't he?
Mr. Robbie Williams. So yes, Mr. Robbie Williams was there one night. I think he did it.
Is he into the paranormal himself?
Yes.
Oh yeah,
he's into UFOs and stuff as well.
Somebody else I might contact.
Yes.
That's the person for your show.
Well, they did actually. He did actually do an investigation at the pub. Him and some friends.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, but
well, you never know, isn't it? That type of thing.
Because of course
it was in the.
He's a local boy, isn't he? So.
Yeah.
I know another person into that type of thing. Another person who I've contacted, and it's probably the most unlikely person you probably ever think of. But I have contacted him, and that's Carl Pilkington. Do you know him?
No.
I know the name.
Carl Pilkington,
yes.
An idiot abroad with Ricky Gervais.
Yes.
Oh right.
He looks like me, and they call him a round-faced chimp.
Well, Robin Williams actually did a thing there with the Donald Lewis Children's Hospice back in, or rather, he's going to. Oh, he did it in February actually. They went to the Leopard Inn. Because he was born and raised in Burslem.
Yeah, I know he did it a few years back as well, didn't he?
As well, yeah. According to this, I think that's what he did. Let me just double check.
It's surprising.
Oh, he spent Halloween there. That was it in 2008. 2008. He spent one of the most haunted pubs in Staffordshire.
There's a.
It's all pubs always proclaim themselves to be the most haunted pub, or all places. It's like a competition between pubs, venues, and
it's. It's a bit of a misnomer that because it's the Burslem, the Leopard Inn. Yes, it's a pub and restaurant now.
Yeah.
But it used to be a hell of a lot more.
Oh yeah.
There's another 2 or 3 floors at the back that go up.
Yeah, and they
all different rooms and stuff.
Don't they have the tunnels? They've got.
They discovered some tunnels a few years back.
They wasn't open on our last visit there. So.
No, there wasn't last time we went either.
No.
But we've got another group coming with us to that.
Right.
It's not just there's another group coming with us. Only about 6 of them coming with us. So there's you guys.
Who might that be?
That's Sentinel.
Sentinel.
Yeah,
so
about 6 people coming from there.
Heard the name, but don't know them.
They're located in Bury.
Yeah.
Right.
But as I say, it was also always a classy hotel. It's steeped in local history and features notably a number of Arnold Bennett's 5 Towns novels, or in these novels, where it is known as the Tiger in the book. Okay, so yeah, it's been there for quite a few years, and we like the top floors, don't we, Steve?
We do.
So
indeed.
I'm hoping that they're still available.
There's also supposed to be a witch around there as well, isn't there?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
Molly Lee, the Witch of Burslem.
The Molly Lees, yes. So a grave's actually in the local graveyard.
Is that far from the actual hotel itself?
I don't think so.
I don't actually know.
I'll have to pay a little visit there then.
Might be worth a look.
Check the ritual daggers and the vessel for drinking blood from, like we do.
Last time we went, it was a little bit scary. Not the actual invest, because we went early to have a meal there. I don't know what it's like now, but the food at the time was absolutely brilliant. But it was a Saturday, and obviously all the football fans around Leeds have been down visiting North End or whatever, and there's football fans every picking way. Yeah. Trying to drive around and find somewhere to park without hitting somebody was a nightmare.
That's it, isn't it? That's it. I mean, like I said, I've never been there before, so it's my first time I'm going to be driving down there.
Well, apparently Molly was sadly Margaret or Molly, sometimes Molly Lee, spelled Leigh. She was known to be ugly, very ugly, and in those days this led to her being shunned, not then alone, and then became notorious as the Witch of Burslem.
Ooh.
And she never married.
Sounds interesting.
So I don't know where she's actually buried, unless it tells me here. But the final irony came when Molly died in 1748, some say 46. It was the same Parson Spencer who laid her to rest in St John's churchyard. But the good townsfolk had concerns what this witch was really dead. Their concerns were even greater when the blackbird started to make a noise of itself in the town. So there's stuff in there, but
that's what I mean. The historical.
A body was moved instead of lying in an east-west direction, normal for Christian births. It was turned into a north-south direction. So I think it's still there in the churchyard.
We'll have Maria coming with us as well from Ian Plague Village.
Oh yeah.
Maria, she'll be coming with us as well.
Can I ask you your favourite place to investigate in the northwest and why?
Yeah, don't say jingle bloody all.
No. There's well,
getting that drummed into me.
Yeah, if you mention Jingle Hall again, sounds like the clip you only hear.
People ask me that over a period, a few years, and I've been asked that so many times. And I'd say one venue, then I'd say another, and then as a year or two have passed, I'd have to change it to another because you get to do that many as you go along. I think in the northwest, one of the favourite places I went, especially in the early years, was a place in Derbyshire which was called Torvale Mill in Derbyshire. It was the strangest place I've ever been. It's still there, you can't go into it now. It's all like securified up and things like that. It's got the Millennium Walkway and things like that. That was really good in there. I think that's one of the spookiest places that we've been to. And the things that we encountered, we went there with a team, and we had I remember the camcorder being flung to one side there, and we all saw the windows exploding out.
Yeah.
And I think
explode that, you mean being pushed out?
Smash outwards. We saw all that.
They did actually break.
Yeah, they smashed. Yeah,
wow.
Smashed, and we saw that. It was me, even PP.
That was scary.
We saw all
that. How did that work on the insurance?
Well, it wasn't. It was a team.
Oh right,
it was just a team thing.
Yeah.
We thought, now people. When I say that to people, I think I expect people not to believe me because I'd think the same thing. Yeah, right, okay. But it really, really did, and we ended up leaving all our gear down at the bottom, and we sort of went, well, regroup, and we had to sort of journey. We weren't in uniform or anything.
No.
It was just like, let's get together and do a mooch up there. And then one of our team members was kind of physically attacked by someone, and then we went back a week after with a different person. We never said, and they were subjected to certain things, and we had to sort of help them out and get them out of there. So that was one of the places. Another place was a good place was Butterflies nightclub in Oldham. You can't. Again, I don't think you can access it. A lot of people might know it as Romeo and Juliet's from Oldham nightclub, and it used to be Riley's pool hall. And where that is, you just go around the side, and you've got your a big blue door, and you go down there. And that's massive, and then you got your disused areas. Which
I love that place.
It was that the only downfall side of that is that you was breathing in all sorts of spores. And crap and things like that, weren't you? So, so there's a lot of things there. So, I mean, the only problem is now to what's his name there? Art Sky.
Acid Sky.
Acid Sky.
That's Arian.
Leisure services in Oldham. Well, the thing is now is that so many places have changed now. People have changed hands, venues have shut down. We used to do a lot of live investigations in public houses, but a lot of public houses have shut down. So it's not that we don't change the situations; the environment around you changes. So you've got to adapt with things. But Butterflies, we've been there, and which you guys have been.
Yeah, great place.
Time and time again, and it's unfortunate that some people like in the chat room and people who are in current teams now have never managed to experience half the places that we've all done in the past years ago.
And they never will because now they're flats or offices or something like that.
Another good place I'll just say was It's been it's not. I don't know if it's been demolished yet, but last time I went, it was just a shell. The floor, the walls, everything had been taken out, and that was in Stockport itself. It was Barnes Hospital. You know that one. Most went there.
I always wanted to go there, but they wouldn't let us in.
Yeah, the security wouldn't let us in.
In Stockport itself, that has got to be, or it was, the most harrowing, gothic, horror story place I've ever been to, and every time I went there, things happened. Wheelchair. We remember standing in the corridor, and it's pitch black. You can't see anything. You just you hear this sound.
Yeah.
And when we looked around, we just seen this wheelchair come to a stop, which is at the corner. Wow, okay. People, we could hear voices, and you shout hello. There was somebody. So there were just so many things went on. So in answer to the chap's question, I would say Barnes in Stockport, Torvale, Derbyshire, and Butterflies. Them were the main
He
three.
goes on to ask, did you ever see the video footage of the supposed ghostly presence that was there when it was a strip club?
Right, at Butterflies.
Yeah,
I did. Yeah, that the story with that is the alarm went off. It was like an alarm activation, and that went to the police, and the police got a call out, and they went along at probably about 4 a.m. in the morning or something like that. There was no signs of any break-in. There was no intrusions of any form. Everything was locked up nicely. But when they reviewed the video, it shows a chap walking down the corridor like he's in pants, a white shirt, and he'd be walking down the corridor. Then he stops and he turns and he just walks through this door, which is people believe it might have been like the pay office or something like that. And he walks through the door and the door's locked. So that left the police baffled and thinking, well, okay, what the hell's that? Because it set the intruder alarm off, but there was no break-in, there was no entry, and that was a video. I'm sure that's the one that you're referring to, sir. I believe.
I think so. Yeah.
Emma, you've been investigating for quite a while. What would be your place?
Oh, that's hard to say. I think it does keep changing after a while. I think I love York, so I love the Golden Fleece pub in York.
Yeah.
I think that has to be one of my favourite places because it was a while ago now, so my memory's a bit faint, but all sorts of things happened, and I'd love to go back. Another one is the Hat Green Nuclear Bunker, and we're actually going back. Is it September or October?
September.
Yeah, we're going back.
No, November.
Is it?
November.
I've got longer to wait. I love that place.
It's just us being eager.
I think one of the best things that happened was me and my team were in the actual bunker itself, and we closed the door, and all the other teams were up on different levels above us, and maybe below us actually as well. They're on different levels, and we could hear whistling and talking from the corridor outside, and that was really strange.
So, Acid Sky, if you're on about butterflies, they won't be able to get in there again.
But if he wants to know if he's writing a book, I've just been reading what he was saying. If he's writing a book and he wants any information, just contact us on Facebook or something, and we'll give him, give us a lot of stories and evidential things that we found. I'm sure you guys can as well.
Or better still, Shabs, if you get the chance, come down to the meeting on Friday.
Thursday.
I have tried to get in there since, and
we have.
Yeah.
I will find a way of getting back in there because it's still there.
Yeah, because I heard it had been turned into flats.
They meant to turn it into flats, weren't they? And
well, Riley's has changed hands, and I think it became a kebab house or something at first. And when I rung them up, they didn't know what I was talking about. Unless I'd have asked for chili sauce, I would have got, But it's trying to find out who's actually running that area because that's still there. So if you can all it is a case of narrowing it down, a little bit of investigation, a little bit of tweaking, and
because we obviously did it the same time as we did Riley's.
Can you imagine what it'd be like now? I mean, if no one's been in it for all them years, can you imagine? You'd probably go in there and you'd still see seats in circles where people was doing seances and call out.
Yeah.
Imagine them when them doors open, them spores that hit you in the face. You'd have to go with a mask on now.
Well, Acid Sky just said it's a rollerblading place for goths now.
Is it? Is that the actual round the? Is that Riley's itself, the old pool hall, or is it round the corner that's underground? Because it's the underground part that we were talking about. The disused area was in Riley's. When you have to go into the building itself, and you go to the disused area, and it was like theatre dressing rooms and things like that.
Yeah,
but the nightclub was underground.
And you got the old kitchen and everything up there.
Yeah, that's right.
That was a magic area.
I'll just tell you one instance. I mean, I don't know if you have the time, but we was in there in Butterflies nightclub, and while we was down there, we set. I think I might have said this before actually, but we had one of the old team members, Paul, had a laptop, and he's looking round the bar because you had two bars. You had the small one on one side and the long one on the other side.
Yeah.
And he's looking round for power. Where can I plug my laptop in? Where can I plug my laptop in? So we could obviously carry on conduct investigations via the laptop. And he found. I radioed up to, I think it was Daniel, who was the manager upstairs at the time. I gave him a radio and I radioed up and I said, I'm just going to look for some power. We need the power. And he didn't get back to me.
Yeah.
He plugged it in, found the plug, plugged it in, it came on. As soon as his laptop came on, the whole bar lit up, the optics lit up, everything lit up. And everybody saw that. And we all, all right, so I radioed up to Daniel. So thanks very much, mate, for the power. He radioed back and said, there is no power. So I thought, okay, so he told us where the fuse boxes were and everything else that powered that area.
Yeah.
And there was none. The wires had been cut. There was no fuses there. It was empty. It'd been ripped out. And when we did, as soon as we found that, everything went back up again. Every single person, and there was, I don't know, 20, 30 of us maybe, we all saw it, so we never got head and the tail of that one. It's just a weird power. If it had been a power surge, I don't know where it come from because there was no connections. So, hey.
Well, we're going to round up the show. I was just trying to be talking about Golden Fleece. I was going to play you an EVP, but it's not coming up for some reason. So I don't know. Oh, hold on. Here we go. This is what we picked up. She says, if it'll play, when we did the first Golden Fleece. If it'll play. Oh, it's being a pain. It's telling me to because I've redone it. It's being a pain in the bum. Let's see if I can do it on here. 2 seconds. See if it'll play.
You'd be better doing it on that one if you can, because it's linked through, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. It's taking. It's because it needs to updo the flash for some reason.
Oh dear.
Yeah. So.
It might not come out on the other one.
I'll just see if I can do it. I don't know whether it will or not. So. Just give me a minute, but I don't know whether this will work. Let's see if I can put the mic to it.
Here we go.
I don't know whether you heard that, but
was that the female voice talking?
Yes.
Was that the EVP?
Yeah.
Oh.
We got that from the Golden Fleece on my dictaphone, and we've never been able to replace it ever since.
Yep.
Wow.
So,
never got anything like it again.
No. So I don't know whether you hear that. I'll just play that one more time.
It's so clear, isn't it?
Yeah. One more time. Is it coming first then? Yeah. Honestly, show you. Or now I will show you.
No,
we were asking him to do something. The funny thing about it was, we'd seen on Most Haunted when Stuart was in the ensuite toilet.
Yeah.
He got locked in the toilet that doesn't lock.
Yeah. And
you know the one I mean?
we told somebody to sit in there, and she didn't want to shut the door. And Steve had gone round and checked all the taps and made sure they were on, weren't on and what have you, and dried all the sink. And we were calling out, blah blah blah, and then all of a sudden, she turned around and said, "The taps are dripping." So then we went for a break straight after, more or less. And when I was listening to the dictaphone, it turned around and said, "Now I will show you." And on the original footage, you hear her say, well, we pulled it forward. Yeah. So all that bit in the boss name, it's her saying that the taps are running. Afterwards she says it. You know
very
what I mean?
Clear as well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's obviously you can make out the voice straight
and
away.
actually close to the microphone as well, because obviously,
And
because we were laying on the bed.
You were laying on the bed at the
she
time.
was in there, so she was nowhere near us.
But did they actually hear it there and then, or
no,
just on playback?
No, it was just on playback. So
right.
But anyway, well, I'm going to let you know what's coming up next week. She says.
Here we go.
So 2 seconds. She says when it comes up.
Meanwhile, I'll sing you a song. Stay tuned. The KTPF coming back at you in this moment.
Coming soon.
There you go. Right, okay. Well, next week we have Marie D. Jones, who is the author of PSI or PS Science, How New Discoveries in Quantum Physics and New Science May Explain the Existence of Paranormal Phenomena. Destiny versus Choice. The scientific and spiritual evidence between fate and free will. Now, Marie is a staff writer for what was it again? 2 seconds. What's the name? It's not on there for some reason. Paraexplorers.com. Okay, in California. She's a staff writer for Intrepid magazine and a regular contributor to New Dawn magazine, Paranoia magazine and Fate magazine. She has written and lectured widely about cutting-edge science, the paranormal, ufology, consciousness, neotics and metaphysics. Her essays and articles have appeared in dozens of books, anthologies and magazines, and she is the screenwriter of 19 Hertz, a paranormal thriller in development with Bruce Lucas Films. She has also got 2 fiction projects out in 2014, a middle grade series written with her son called EKHO, and a young adult paranormal thriller called Freak. So that's what we've got on next week. She's also written something about the Deja Vu Enigma and several other books. With her latest release is This Book is from the Future, a journal through portals, relatively wormholes and other adventures in time travel. So she's got a lot to talk about next week, so hopefully you'll join us. What do you say to that, Chris?
Sounds intriguing, doesn't it?
It does, doesn't it? You know, so that would be something to talk about, wouldn't it? And it covers more or less everything there, doesn't it? Deja vu and portals, you know, time travel and wormholes, and maybe she might be able to answer that question about, do ghosts see us? Or are we in their timeline or whatever?
I believe that, you know, when that was asked earlier, you know, that's one of my concepts. I strongly believe that if we see them like that, they see us like this. But
she has also been on hundreds of radio shows and appeared on the history channels Nostradamus Effect and Ancient Aliens television series. So that sounds quite interesting. So I'll be interested to look at that. But if you want to find out more about her, you can find out at mariedjones.com. So if you fancy looking that up and asking some questions, we'll be here at 8 o'clock next week, as usual, on the KTPF, which is in Manchester, www.ktpf.co.uk. Okay. Yes, paraexplorers.com. Yes, that's it.
I just say to Anti-Sky, can I, if I may?
Yes.
I've just sent you the friend request as requested. I think is it
Shabba,
yeah. I've just sent you the friend request. So if you'll see it as Chris Insomniac, come on, it's not Insomniac. My name's Andrews, but that's what I'm called for the moment. Just accept it, and hey, we'll be mates, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Yeah.
What are you like?
Yeah, Shabbos is one of them people that's.
I'm being licked to death here by your dog. The thing is, he's licking me in places that. Right.
Yeah. He's very much the skeptic, is our Shabbat.
Nothing wrong with that. You've got to be maintained.
Despite the fact that he's actually experienced stuff.
Yeah.
Because he experiences and goes away all excited, and then the next day he's like, well, it could have been this.
Yeah.
And we go, no, Shabba, it wasn't, because you were in the middle of when nothing was catching you. So.
Well, I know he's just added PJ. I've just seen that on the thingy. So
anyway,
cool.
That's it for tonight. Thank you, Emma.
You're welcome.
Have you enjoyed this evening?
Yeah, it's been interesting.
It's not been too bad, has it? Chris?
Thank you. No, it's been really cool. Yeah, really cool night as always. People in the chat room, lovely people.
And we'll see you on Thursday night.
Lovely dog. You will, yeah, Thursday.
Well, you know what you're
on
like
Saturday.
with Roxy. She loves you, don't she?
Just in case you wonder what's going on, they've got a lovely little dog here, and she's just lovely. She just licks me and licks
Ghost
me.
Riders just said, keeping the pooch frisky, Chris.
That's me. No, I think the pooch is keeping me frisky. But,
she just had her nose up his trouser leg, licking his kneecaps.
Oh dear.
Jack Russell, yes, they don't have good tongues for nothing, these things.
Well, anyway, that's it for tonight. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you to Steve Brown for taking time to talk to us tonight. And we do hope to come down sometime and take up his offer. Yes. And also maybe have the show coming from there.
Yeah, and also a big thank you to all you guys in the chat room for coming forward.
Martin, Andy, Acid Sky, John,
PJ,
Victoria, and
Michaela,
Gary Bungalow or whatever it was. Yes. The Viscount is there, and
if we've missed you, sorry, but thanks for joining us anyway, and thanks for all your questions. And that once again just leaves us one thing to say.
Well,
are you ready?
Oh, I
keep the paranormal friendly. Good night and God bless.
This is where it's at.
To see in the night, to measure the spike, to see how cold it's been. I buy my kit so I won't forget the ghosties that I have seen. The Paranormal Intelligence Gathering Services Ghost Store. So visit www.the-pigs.co.uk/ghost store.